Hey, Max, what is up? Like, I know you've switched up your wardrobe and all this stuff, but is this hat now a part of the uniform? Am I gonna have to send a letter to Thelke, BT about getting some associated stuff put on this hat?
I don't know. I believe the contract states this is okay. I'm not 100% sure I can't remember, but I think this is okay.
I'm gonna have to have a talk with BT on inappropriate headwear, not approved associated headwear. You can't be doing that, and you have to have.
I believe they'll make an exception when it's me.
Well, there you go. Well, you won the race, so there you go. You're the number one AE guy in Finland right now. What's up, Max? We're back. Yeah. We're recording a podcast. We got some things to talk about. Not much, but we got some things to talk about. So, you know what? I say we just drop that intro.
Nitro is the glory. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast with your host tonight, Keenan White, aka Lefty the Great, and if you are unlucky, the Finnish village idiot, JQ. This is the RC podcast with no name, but plenty of content. So sit back, relax, and get ready for some serious bench racing.
Yes, indeed. Nitro is the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 136 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keenan White, aka Lefty the Great, and over to my left in real life, right on the screen, is Max Mort of Associated. Don't get that hat twisted. He does when he draws Associated, unapproved Associated headwear, by the way. And there we go. What's up, Max? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm just chilling. It'll probably be a race this weekend, but it'll most likely be canceled due to the rain. So I'm kind of like I don't want to go because it seems like it's gonna rain anyway. So I hope they cancel it before.
I thought rain doesn't stop races in Europe. What happened?
I don't know. When it's like mid race, then we just race. But when it's like before the race, then we just don't start.
Okay.
Usually, if it's like mid main, we just run it. No stopping.
All right. Well, we'll talk about that and more after I do my intro here. Welcome. Episode number 136, everybody. We're getting there. We're almost at the 150. 14 away from 150, if my math is correct. Our guest this week is Mike Mayberry from Hitec Rc. They are a sponsor of the podcast. So we decided to get Mike on here to talk to him about his time in the industry. He's been in there for 20 years, 25 years, I believe he has. So he has some stories to tell, and thank you to him for coming on, and thank you to Hitec for sponsoring the podcast. Also, shout out to all of the NNRC squad around the world. Without you guys, we can't do this. Thank you. Our Facebook's almost at 4,000 likes. Thank you, everybody. I think we're like 21 away from that. So if you haven't liked the Facebook page, please go and hit that like button over there. Also on our Instagram, we're getting more, every day every couple of days. Instagram's a hard nut to crack, just like YouTube. So follow us on Instagram. If you haven't already, go on over to our YouTube channel and hit that sub notification button and like or dislike button and leave a comment. Go ahead. Also for Max, do that for Max Mort's channel. I was told you got to make your channel art a little bit better too. And also one thing I forget to ask people is like leave reviews. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or something like that, leave a review. Let us know how you liked it or you disliked it. It helps the algorithms to get things going. Shout out to all the patrons of the podcast. Thank you guys. Without you guys, none of this is possible. We can't do it. You guys help these bills being paid. You can help me got that nice boat. Oh, shucks. Okay, that boat back there. That it's ready, but I'm going to talk about that in a bit. So thank you guys. If anybody wishes to support the podcast any further, the link for Patreon can be found in the link tree link in the written description. So I have everything to do with the podcast, all the sponsors, Patreon, IG, website, all that stuff is all under one link in the written description. Just click it and it'll take you to, it's Linktree, man. It's awesome. I like it. I don't know why I haven't used it all this time. And thank you to our sponsors. We actually have a new sponsor, and it's Jonathan RC. He was on the podcast in episode 134. He's making quality, really customizable leads. I mean, I've had him on the podcast before, but when I really dug in deep and started customizing these leads, I was like, wow, he goes deep. Like, you can choose different sheathing, different heat shrink, logos, all this type of stuff. I didn't realize that it was the customizing of leads was so popular. So I ordered me a few and freaked out on them and went all crazy. He's got these nice, cool magnetic phone cables that I ordered for me and I ordered for my wife. And I appreciate Jonathan RC for coming on. Zach's a great guy. Like I said, he's an on-road guy. And you guys, if you can, go show them some love. I think you get 10% off over all orders over $50. And you'll be like, well, how do I spend money on the cables at $50? You'll see you get customizing these cables, and wow, but they're really great cables. I've heard nothing but good things about them. I'll be trying them out, charging up my batteries for my new boat and all that stuff. So good stuff. Shout out to Mayako. We're going to talk about that too here in a little bit. Mayako is a proud sponsor of the podcast, has been for a long time. Beach RC, we can't do without you guys. Thank you, Beach RC. TNR fuels made by racers for racers. Chris is getting ready for the on-road Nats here soon. Shout out to Hitec Rc. Obviously, the guest this week is from Hitec. I'm breathing all heavy here. I'm getting excited. JQ Racing. Shout out to all my JQ Racing family. Tekno RC. Sun City RC Raceway. They got a race coming up. USRC and Ryan Lutz are going there on the 14th of August. If you're in the El Paso area, go check them out and go to that race. Lugs Racing Tires. Lugs Racing Tires has over 55 years of combined experience. They've been testing treads, wheels, and rubbers for performance. They have the Econ tires that are developed with racing budgets in mind. High quality but lower cost means savings that can be passed on to you, the racer. They also have their premier line of tires that is made for performance, using Lugs custom molds and proprietary rubber compounds to give you tires available in medium, soft, super soft, mega soft, and now they have long wear. So go to www.lugsracing.com. Use the promo code NNRCLugs in all caps, and you'll save money on your order. And you know what? That's in the written description too. So thank you to Lugs. Thank you for them. Manscaped.com. Manscaped.com's been with us for a year, so that's great. Thank you to everybody that's been showing Manscaped some love. Obviously, you guys have been showing them enough love, and you've gotten into manscaping because they've been continuing and on the partnership that we've created with them. So thank you to everybody that supported them. And thank you to Manscaped. Papa Willie's Traction Tonic, one of our longtime sponsors. We have promo codes for that. You save 10% off that. Go visit them, spend some money. Obviously, Jonathan RC, Racecraft USA. We have a promo code for that too. All this is in the written description. Thank you to Racecraft USA. They just the new mini command module out. Looks great. RCGP and House of RC. All right, Max. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you to everybody that shows the sponsors some love. We greatly appreciate it. It helps out the podcast. And if you guys can save some money, you can too. Remember that affiliate link in Beach RC helps us out as well. And I want to say happy birthday to a couple of stars. Joe Zaire's birthday was last week. My buddy AE Boy, his birthday was on the 11th. There's a lot of July babies here. And as I told Wally and I told Mark, happy birthday to Wally. His birthday was the 25th. And Mark Santa Maria, his birthday was yesterday. And as I messaged Mark Santa Maria and I told him, you're 2 days shy of pure greatness, and that's being born on the 29th like me. But happy birthday to those guys, man. I want to talk about Mark Santa Maria a little bit more because he's doing something cool. But yeah, we got that done. I'm all excited and I'm out of breath now. But yeah, Max, nothing going on for me. We didn't really we were supposed to record a podcast last week, but we didn't because we did a live, and it actually turned out to be a pretty good podcast, so we just put that up. I think people enjoyed it. And that was over the Driven episode 3 of Driven. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. It's pretty good. And nothing much, man. I'm kind of been chilling. I got my Oxidine Marine boat all ready for its maiden voyage. Hopefully I don't sink it. it's supposed to be not unsinkable, but it's supposed to be able to, once you flips, it's supposed to be able to right itself because the chamber floods and then it doubles, like turns over. So probably depends. The river's a little dirty because we've had some rain, so I'm just waiting for that to clear up and to get some time. But yeah, I'm going boating. And you know what? I have a special video for everybody. Everybody's going to get to see. I got this. I've seen this video over and over, and it brought me back to a good time in RC, a good time in my life, man. It was like just doing RC stuff. It was Saturdays, we do RC things in Bermuda. And on Sundays, we go like RC cars on Saturdays, and Sundays we go do the boat track and do this. So my buddy sent this video from 2003. I had 2 working arms. That's about 100 pounds lighter, 100 and something pounds lighter. And yeah, I look pretty good. I needed some sun though. So let's have a look at this from some boat racing in Bermuda back in 2003. All gas, man. These are all, there I am. Look at that handsome guy. I still don't know what to do. Picked up the boat with the wrong hand. And my buddy Irvin had to help me. That was my first boat. It actually had a 35cc engine in it. And I didn't do too well. Boats is a different animal from cars. So this is like being filmed with a guy's phone off his TV in his hobby shop. TQ Hobbies, what's up, Abba in Bermuda? There's Abba right there. Oh, is that Abba? Yeah, that's probably Abba. Well, that's Derek. Wow. These are all guys I chat to.
This is like peak RC content. Like really old, nitro.
No, this is gas. Gasoline.
Oh, gas?
Yeah, these are like liquid cooled. Let me turn it down a little bit. These are, you can hear the thick Bermudian accents in the background too.
Yeah.
This is, these are all gas powered, like 2-stroke gas powered, water cooled radiator engines. And they are
boats
loud.
Are really freaking fast.
Huh?
Boats are crazy fast. Boats are crazy fast.
Oh, this
like
isn't nothing.
boats.
You gotta see like a twin nitro rigger go around on a circle. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, I've seen those. That's what I'm talking about.
I cut out, and yeah, heard me. That's probably me cutting out right there. But the only thing about boats is that once there's no turn marshal, so once they flip, you got to swim out there and go get it. I tell you my story how I almost drowned. Well, I almost drowned, but it was definitely a little bit sketch. Because I'll tell you what, if you see, I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent here, but if you see where those boats are going out there, when there's a drop, it goes from like, it can be like high tide, maybe the water will come up to your hair at the most. Low tide, it can be down by your knees, but then once you go off that drop, it's like the abyss. You know what I mean? Not deep, it's deep.
And there's like a current there too, right?
Yeah, because so I'm out at the boat track one day by myself. Testing, just got this $200 prop, so I'm gonna test. So my boat caught out in the shallow part, so I'm walking out there to get it with my radio. I think I'm gonna make it there in time, and then the wind's just taking it. I'm like, shit. No, you're trying to walk a little faster in rocks. This isn't beach, this is rocks and stuff. So, and I got my radio in my hands. I'm walking. The water's getting deeper, so I'm like getting to the water where I'm like, okay, I can hold my radio up like this, and I get right to the edge, and the boat is like. I'm just going to go over to the other side of the harbor. Forget you, Keenan. And I'm like, do I walk all the way back there and drop my radio off? Or do I try to swim out there, get this boat with one hand, holding my radio above my head like this, and swim back into the air? I did it. I was out there swimming with the radio up above my head. Then I got to the boat and I'm pushing it. And then I finally got back where I could walk, and I walked it back in. And I didn't get my radio wet. So
wow. I mean, that's great, actually. That's really difficult to do.
Yeah. And I had 2 arms back then, so it was not too bad.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
Yeah, but like even with 2 arms, it's really bad. Like really hard to do.
But it was fun, man. It was fun, and I'm excited to go have some fun with this boat. I've never done electric boats. These boats are super fast.
And those are crazy.
You know, it's just, I can't wait to go out there. I hope I don't break it. I did break Lucas's 10 scale at Beach RC when I went there on the first lap. I felt really bad. I struck a wall.
Hit a wall?
Yeah, I jumped right into a wall.
You know, now I have to tell this story. Like I was driving at the track a few weeks ago, probably. I was just doing like one battery because I was close by. So I did a 1 battery, and then like Pekka was there, and he was like, "Hey, I want to try," and I let him drive my car. He drove like 3 laps, and then he jumped it into the driver's stand. Like it's a 10 scale indoor track.
Mm-hmm.
He jumped the car into the driver's stand. He just wanted to try my car. Why does that always happen? I don't know why.
Well, Mike was driving Lucas's car. Then I took it, and I need a radio with a lanyard. Like I can't drive without a lanyard, so I was like holding the radio on the driver's stand and trying to drive it, and I just couldn't do it. Like, and I jumped, and I was like, "Oh, hold on, that jump is too close to bam." Okay, I just hit it, and I was like, "Lucas, I think I broke your car." No, you didn't break it. Oh yeah, you broke it. I was like, "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry." So sorry. Don't let me drive your car. I'm gonna break it. No, I've never really driven 10 scale on that type of surface at all. I'm only driven it on AstroTurf. So I don't know. But you know what, Max? Before we go on any further, let's pay some bills because this podcast is brought to you by Manscaped. We just talked about them, how great you guys are doing, and supporting us with Manscaped. And we greatly appreciate their support. And they're just advertising their new performance package 4.0 for the summer because it's summertime. And are you ready to unveil your beach bod? I know I am. I'm all about that beach bod. I'm about rawness. You know what I mean? There's no fine edges here. It's all about being round or square. So yeah, Manscaped is got you covered because you can't be going out to the beach in your bikinis and all that stuff if your junk, all this jungle poking out all over the place. So they've got you covered with the new Performance Package 4.0, which includes the Lawnmower 4.0. Now, I've been using this Lawnmower 4.0, and it's really, really good. I must say, it really, really is good. So join the other 2 million men worldwide that are manscaping and pick yourself up one of these Performance Package 4.0s. I do believe they are now delivering to Europe. Why should you get the new Lawnmower 4.0? Well, this 4th generation trimmer features a new cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents. It's got this new advanced, well, it's not new, they've always had it, but they're always tweaking it. This new advanced skin-safe technology. Trust me, I have tried to hurt myself, and I haven't. I've done some super aggressive manscaping, and I haven't. And I've used it on all parts of my body, and it works great. I mean, maybe not the best thing you want to know, maybe too much information for everybody, but yeah, check it out. So, you know what, guys? Chill out. Go check out Manscaped, and they sent us this cool new gift that we got right here that I want to show. Woo! You know what, people? www.manscaped.com. Use the promo code NONAME in all caps. Save 20% off your order, and you get free shipping worldwide. Cut through the jungle to find your manhood. Thank you, Manscaped. Your balls will thank you. Max, we got to get you a performance package.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't be getting rid of the mustache, though. That's staying.
We definitely got to do something about this hair, though. I don't know. All right, Max.
I don't know. I'm going full Jesus.
Oh, gosh. Okay. That's going to be interesting. You was like Mad Hatter. I was looking at some pictures from RCGP, and your hair was just so wild. Like, I was like,
oh, yeah, Philippines.
Oh, man, it was wild.
Like the moisture was so high, so it stayed sort of like wavy.
Yeah, it was definitely humidity, and it was just like your hair was just frizzy. Looked like you stuck your finger in a socket or something. All right, Max, so what about you? I saw you did some testing this weekend.
Yeah, I went back to testing. I've been doing actually, like the thing is, like, because I don't have any track close by, I've had 6 practice days the whole year. Of anything, 6 practice days of anything this the whole year. So it's really not a lot. Luckily, I've somehow made the most of it, and I've improved my setup to where I actually feel really comfortable with the car. Surprisingly comfortable considering the like lack of practices, really. But like now the last 2 weekends, I went 2 days in the last the week before, and now 1 day this weekend. So I've had some good practice.
What is it that you're exactly making changes on your car? What changes are you making?
Mostly on the rear end. The front end's been staying the same. I feel like the front end is good. So I feel what Mugen lacks in steering associated has made it better. But for some reason, I can't get the rear end sort of. Well, in the past, I couldn't get the rear end just the way I wanted it to.
What are you looking for? More stability in the rear end, or for more? What are you trying to achieve?
So basically basically I'm trying to find the best balance between corner speed and rear end grip, because like if I wanted the rear end to be really stable and have good grip, I'll then lose in corner speed. So I've been trying to sort of find a way to keep the corner speed and then make it more stable. Basically just keep low toe and shocks leaned in, and trying to keep sort of the stability in the rear end.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Got you. So the possible race that you will have this weekend is where?
In Turku. It's the track I've been practicing the last few weeks, just sort of getting set up into. I mean, that track was one of the roughest tracks I've ever. Well, not actually. It's not that rough, but it's like super high grip and really like sharp bumps. So it really grabs your car really easily. So it's really difficult. One of the most difficult tracks I've ever been to.
Okay. Sweet. And how many more races do you have left in the summer, approximately?
Two races if this race happens. We have 2 down, 2 to go.
It's gonna be a very
we
short.
might have some club races.
Yeah. Well, a national series short, but you can do some club racing. And then what? It's just 10 scale after that once winter kicks in?
Yeah, mostly 10 scale, but I'll try to get some practicing in the autumn. We might get a track close by where I live. It's already starting to get built, but it's like it might take a while still. So I hope I'll have the track so I can practice, do some testing. I did that last fall. I just went like every week. I went to the track 3 times, like 2 days on a week, then once on a weekend, trying to get sort of set up found. And I think that's really worked for me this year, because like when I started the season, my setup was almost like figured out, only small tweaks.
Got you. All right. Other than RC, what have you been up to besides your work? In it, I guess, like there's no like chance of you going to any international races or getting out of the country to go do anything, or
no at the moment, no. Like the code regulation is still a bit sort of strict, where you have to get a test every which way you go, and it might cost a few €100 in say Germany. So it's like you pay flights, you pay hotels. I mean, that's not that expensive, but then you pay the tests both ways.
That's like $500 or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Some countries don't require it. Some countries offer it for free, but some countries just require you to buy a test. And yeah, I ain't paying $200 just for a test.
I know it's expensive.
You know?
I paid $50 for mine. I think.
Yeah. In Finland, it's all free, so it's great. But
nothing's free here. But I can literally get a test. I probably shouldn't even say this on the air. I'm not. But I can get a test without getting. I can get an okay test without getting a test on her if I wanted to. That ain't a problem.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but that's the third world for you.
I know. Well, that's why I love it, on her. Open air corruption. I can live with it. All right, man.
Open air corruption. Wow.
Just before we go on to anything, any RC news, I wanted to touch on something which I thought was pretty cool. Mark Santamaria is having a summer camp. So his really RC summer camp. So he's blowing up on YouTube. It's great what he's doing. I'm really hoping
how many subscribers does he have?
He's got like 66,000. He's like in the whole scheme of YouTube. I'd love to have 6,000 subscribers. You know what I mean? But 66 is really good. I think after 100,000 is like when you can start really, But I like what Mark's doing.
I mean, you can live depending on the amount of views. He could probably make a living off of YouTube alone.
Yes, but I think he would need more, and I think he has a good job anyway.
Yeah. But it depends on the views, though.
Right.
Like if he has like 1,000 views every video, it's like no way. But if he has like 50,000 views every video, yeah.
But he's doing some sort of. I'm actually going to have him on here to talk about. He's been super busy, but he's been doing he's doing a MSN summer camp at the Traxxas building, because he's really affiliated with Traxxas. So I believe you pay, and people got like a Traxxas Slash that they have to build, and like they taught them how to build them properly, and it was pretty cool, man. And that's awesome stuff. Like, and I applaud anything like that. I think Slash is a great class for people to get into. We need more of it, and we need to keep it as stock as possible, not ruin it by making like 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive. And I just think like things like that are great. Like a basic summer camp, teach people how to how to do things, and go from there. Like I always say, Mark Santeria is like the welcome door for these basher guys who are like on the cusp of bashing and racing. And I think he bridges that gap a lot. And it's super important, man. It's super important for that because we need that. You know, we still need that. We need, you know, we're all ambassadors, but yeah, I think that's pretty cool. A summer camp. I think that's awesome. Awesome.
Oh yeah, everything like just to make RC cooler and improve it. I'm all for it.
Yeah, because he called in on our last, not our live, but a live a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, and he said, you know, he said, yeah, it's just amazing. People still don't even know what we're doing as race. And I said, I know. It isn't amazing to me. I just know how it is because I have so many people ask me like, what, you do this for a living? I'm like, yeah. So I understand that 100%. Well, congratulations. Check it out. I think I saw it. It's on his Instagram, and I'm sure he's going to have some video up about it. So, yeah, good stuff to him. And great job, man. Great job. Kudos to you. All right, Max. I think it's time to go into some RC news. I was scouring for news. It ain't much. A lot of racing going on in Europe. So we'll touch on that. But this week's news is brought to you by Hitec RCD. Hitec RC is a leader in RC systems, delivering the highest performance and reliability, supported by a dedicated customer service personnel. The HSB 9381TH servers have efficient brushless motors, titanium gears, low consumption, constant output, and a metal case. The RDX2 Pro charger, which I probably need to pick one up for myself because I need a new charger, can charge 2 4-cell packs in just 45 minutes and provide power for your engine heating and tire warming needs. Trust in Hitec, your server and charger headquarters. Visit www.hitecrcd.com, where to buy, and click on the where to buy link, and you will find your nearest dealer. Thank you, Hitec, for showing the podcast some love, and show them some love too, everybody. And thank you, Mike, for coming on. All right, Max. So I had made notes yesterday. Then we saw what happened. So all right, let's just address the elephant in the room because I don't know all the details. But Wally's out at Mayako. I talked to Wally. You know, this is the big thing reverberating from yesterday. I'm kind of disappointed with this because I kind of was looking forward to working with Wally to it like an extent with that. But I kind of, man, it's business. It is business and it's business. And that's about all I know about this. Like talking to Wally, talking to thing. I think Wally kind of wants to focus on Wally Builds, which is growing and is real busy because he just moved into a bigger, you know, he's moved into a full-time shop and all that type of stuff. And I just think like, yeah, maybe he's just, I get it. Like when you work in RC like this, like what Wally's doing, that's his living. Like this is my living too. You know what I mean? But he's right there in the thick of it. And I guess you just have to do what's best for your business at the end of the day. You know what I mean? I don't know all the details about what's happening. My phone was like, bing, 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 bing. And I was like, I'm not even involved with this. I didn't know. Like, people was like, what happened? I was like, what are you talking about? Then I saw it on Facebook. I was like, what the hell? Like, he was 1 hour. He was like, oh, I'm building some new cars. And then an hour later, it's like, I'm out. And I was just like,
that was weird.
That was weird.
He posted on, I believe he posted on Tuesday, like, yeah, getting ready for the weekend, and then on like Wednesday morning and Tuesday evening. He
posted on the day, and then like an hour later it was nothing because I remember Greg was talking shit on there. So I don't know what I just talked to Wally. He says it's nothing personal, it's business. I gotta focus on Wally Builds and do that. And maybe what Mayako needed from him, like I know they kind of want him, like from what I can tell, is like they want him to be he was supposed to be the guy, like, you know, the face of Mayako or similar like that. And to be something like that, to be a team manager and all that stuff, man, people just don't understand the amount of, I guess that would have been like a team manager type of thing. People just don't understand the amount of commitment and work that takes to do that. You know what I mean? Like not when I was doing it, but I'm still doing it, but obviously it's slowed down a lot because of, you know, JQ Racing's gotten smaller. But it takes a lot of work, man. I would be up at 2:00 in the morning talking to some guys, you know? And I spent many a Saturday afternoon maybe talking some guy off a cliff who just had a shitty club race, and he was just like, I'm done, like, I'm quitting RC or whatever. It's so much stuff involved with being a team manager in RC. I think in anything that people just don't understand the amount of work. And, you know, it literally takes over your life, like Richard did for me. Well, for me, maybe I did it the wrong way. You know what I mean? But to treat people how I want to be treated, it takes that attention. Like I always said, a little bit of attention goes a long way. So it's unfortunate. That's about all I know about it right now. Talking to Wally and Joseph, they said it's business. So I'm just going to leave it at that. It's unfortunate. I wanted to work with Wally, but that's how things go sometimes, man. Just go. Like, just how it works. Like, 1 minute you could be on top of the world, the next minute you're like, shit. Like, what happened? So good luck to Wally and all his endeavors and whatnot, and I wish him all the best. The show must go on. Like, you know what I mean? It's pretty simple. Like one person getting off the train, don't stop the train. The train's got to keep on going once it's going. So, yeah, September, I think now, the release date for the Marco. I can't wait to get my car and put it together and see what happens. All right, let's talk some news. So I think one of the biggest news for me this week was the UK has a really great national series brewing up right now. Johnny Skidmore beat Boots again.
Yeah, but like last time, it was sort of like Craig's race to lose, and he had a failure in the main. This time was like Boots TQ'd all the rounds, all 4 quali rounds. He TQ'd. He started first in the main, and then Skidmore just straight up beat him.
Yeah, there was no mistakes. I mean, unless we missed something. You said you went through all the laps. You didn't miss nothing.
I went through all the laps. Like, unless there was something like a power line came loose, fuel sort of pressure line came loose or something. Unless there was something like that, I don't see anything weird in Boots' laps. He even did one of his fastest laps in the end. So it's not like his car went really bad or tires went out or like, I just feel like he just made more mistakes than Johnny, and Johnny just kept it on the wheels.
Well, yeah, to be fair, I think Boots has been dominant in this series for many years now. I mean, he probably lost some races. I think Clancy might have beat him. Let's be honest. Like, it was Neil Craig, Boots. Like Boots has been dominant the last few years. He probably got inherited this. You had Lee Martin, you had Bloomfield at his time, Craig's still fast. You had all these guys. Boots was next in line. Like, let's be honest, for like that fast UK guy. He is the fastest UK guy, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, I think he won like 2-3 years in a row or something like that. He's been really good at it. But like this year, it's been like, it almost like when I've been looking at the quality times, all that, like Neil Craig's been looking really good this year. Like first race, he was almost like dominating straight up, then had an issue in the main. This race, he had the speed, like he was matching sort of Boots' speed. And then in the semi, he had an issue. So he's getting like really, like he's getting the worst end of the stick. Like here. But Boots is sort of just, I don't know what's going on with him, but he seems like,
wow, that was a Drake.
He ain't doing too good. Yeah,
okay, so let's look at a few things. All right, so congratulations to Skidmore. I'm glad when I see. I'm glad when I see any up and I wouldn't say that they've been racing for a long time. I don't know how old they are. I even congratulated his dad, and I said that's what because I am a fan of seeing a good series. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm a fan of seeing these young guys going after, even though Boots is not old, but you know, Boots is the guy. But let's be honest, like Boots in 8 scale, Boots is the guy in pretty much in England, I would say. In the world, when you think 8 scale racing, you think Boots from England, you know, England 8 scale racing. So Skidmores aren't slow. I mean, Johnny was fast at Montpellier last year. Last year.
Yeah. But like even then, like this is still a really good performance for them, because in previous years I think he's won a national round once in a while, but like having like 2 national wins in a row and like not even getting lucky or anything, and even like William being there too. Like they've been like they both guys have podiums from each races, so even that's impressive too. So like they're all what they're doing is working pretty good for them. So I mean, yeah.
Well, it's a good group of young guys in England that are racing now too, and they want to win.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No doubt.
They have a great championship route. Now let's look at Boots. I think so. The big change for Boots this year, he went to T-Pro tires, from Pro Line to T-Pro tire. Big change.
Yeah, I mean that could be an issue. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the issue, but. T-Pro tires aren't really bad per se. I don't feel like they are.
Maybe
So
just not the
it's like, but
selection that Proline has.
I mean, could be. It could be just that they don't work that well in oil tracks. I
Maybe.
mean, whatever it is.
Maybe.
Whatever it is, but like,
was it an oil track?
I feel that could be an issue.
I think it was
this track was
Brookthorpe's oiled, I believe.
Yeah, this wasn't oiled, but it was sort of like weirdly done. I can't remember. I spoke with Drescher. He said they treated it weirdly, and no one really liked the grip level. It's really inconsistent.
That's who I need to get on this podcast. It's Craig Drescher. Thank you for reminding me that.
Yeah.
I think this is Rowan the Barbarian's home track. He sends me pictures all the time. So it's a nice track too, by the way. Very was there. So it looks like Very is definitely going to be his traveling mechanic. I mean,
oh yeah, no doubt. Like he was in the first round as well. So
yeah, so
he's been there.
It's going to take some time, but are we seeing the changing of the guard somehow, some way? You know, are the Skidmores going to go at it? Like, is Johnny going to go after Boots?
But I'd say like Skidmore is definitely on a run, no doubt, and all praise to him for that. But I still feel like sort of Boots still struggling. Like all the other guys, like Skidmore beat him straight up, like all the other guys in the main, like but I still feel Boots is the number one. He's just having sort of a struggle at the moment. Could be tires, could be just not feeling the tracks, been racing in Italy for a while, needs to get used to the UK tracks. Whatever it is, but I feel like that's the sort of the most of it, I feel.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I could be wrong.
It could be.
I mean, that Skidmore and UK guys are getting faster and faster.
Could be. I mean, the Skidmores were always pretty good. It seems like they've done really good since going on Mugen. So, good stuff. Congratulations to the Skidmores. Even though I don't see eye to eye with their dad all the time, they're a good race. Maybe I need to get them on the podcast to talk to them. But definitely Drescher. And yeah, so congratulations. It's good to see. It's just good to see that. Like a good race series going on, and to determine.
And you know what? Darren Bloomfield is back. He's racing.
I heard
again.
that. Well, he was on the podcast.
He's racing an AE.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he's racing an AE. He's finished, I think, 4th this round, and he was in like top 6 last round or something.
Yeah.
He finished pretty high up.
I had a great chat with Bloomfield last year, I think, or might have been 2019. So I'll find out. Bloomfield's fast. Wow, he was fast.
I mean, that guy has talent. Like, no, like it's not like, because it was never like he had the best equipment or the best mechanic, or he was sort of a setup guru. He just had talent. He was amazing. Like, remember the Euros he won in 2012?
I do. It was at that track.
I believe he ran in Fairing. Yeah.
Was it in Fairing?
He ran. Yeah, in Fairing.
It was a little different though, right?
It was run like it was. So the dirt was a lot more moisturized, so it was not like dry like it was the RCG.
So it wasn't a track with like the cobblestones and like the paved area.
Oh yeah. That was.
And like Ronafalk was winning for the longest while.
Yeah, Ronafalk led until like the last 5 minutes.
It looks completely different now.
Yeah, but he made a huge mistake, and then Bloomfield catched up, and then Bloomfield passed him, and Ronafalk sort of lost his concentration. Like Ronafalk definitely choked in the end, and that was his race to lose. But Bloomfield was really fast all week, and what I believe was that he ran Drake's car because Drake was there. He was his mechanic.
I think he said
that. And from what I heard, I believe he ran Drake's car. He didn't even run his own car at the Euros.
The last time we saw like the Americans going over to help the Europeans was 2018 with Gord when they were there for Bruno.
Yeah.
I really wish we would see more Americans just come over and race. You know what I mean? I would love to see Americans just come up to Montpellier and race the first race of the year. I know it's a hard race, but
I mean they used to. Like Mayfield used to be there. All those guys, like that was great. Like, but the thing is, like the Americans really never did too well at Montpellier. So I think that's why they stopped going.
Yeah. The
Euros were like used to the track, they used to the weather, all of that kind of stuff.
Greg always says all the time, we had to go over to Europe to get faster, to race those guys back in the day.
Yeah.
Lots of racing going on in Europe. Lots of racing. I see the Punisher, Michael Orlowski won in one in Poland. That's where Pavel went too, because we were supposed to record, and he's like, "Oh, I'm at the track." No, it's like, we'll wait till next week. I saw Runnefalk race. Runnefalk lost in 2-wheel drive this week. He won 4-wheel drive, but lost 2-wheel drive at the Nationals. Yeah.
Who won 2-wheel drive?
I don't know.
Probably. I think his name is Elias Johansson.
Yes,
I'm not sure. I think him.
It was. That's who someone just called me. So he came second. I was shocked to see that.
Yeah, but that's what I've been saying all the while. Like he isn't like feeling like strong, you know? He feels like he has those weaknesses. I mean, he has the speed, he has everything together, but like sometimes he doesn't win the races, or sometimes he has sort of those cracks.
You know what? Sometimes you just can't win them all. I know I want the Viking to win everything.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just can't.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, like Sweden has a lot of fast races. So it's not like he's facing no competition. He's facing really fast guys. So it's not like he should be like dominating all these races. But like he should still be sort of winning it.
Who does that guy race for? Because I think one of his friends might have messaged me telling him about a fast, young 10-scale AE driver. Probably might have been this guy. I can't remember.
I don't know. I mean,
sometimes I get messages and I don't know who they're from, man. And my things just go on. If I don't answer, it's because it gets pushed on and I don't see it no more. So I apologize. But yeah, lots of racing going on. Barufalo won this weekend. Europe is like full racing right now. It's good to see, but it's sad that we don't get to see more them get together and race more. Like, have you heard anything? Maybe there might be like another big 8-scale race coming up where everybody's going.
I haven't heard of anything. There might be a race in Germany, but I probably mostly Germans anyway. So not that I know of. Maybe like Italian championship is always great because there's like so many fast guys. But the thing is, like in Europe, it's sort of weird because like every country has their top guys, and it's like even like it doesn't matter which country it is. Like every time there's a race in any country, there's at least one like professional there, sort of. Because in America, it's sort of like most of the pros are in California, or like Cole is on the East Coast. Most guys are in California. Then Tebow, Lutz, and all those guys are sort of, they don't really go to any big races that are posted online, at least, or I've seen. They probably go to races a lot, but like it sort of like gets sort of hidden, at least from my like social media bubble. So like European races, it's like when there's always like a Boots or an Ongaro, you always hear about it. So that's like sort of the difference in Europe, because I bet there's just as much racing going on in America at the moment.
It's crazy. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about that after I pay some bills. So thank you to TNR Fuels, because here at the NNRC, we are all about the glory, and that glory is nitro. TNR Fuels is the hottest nitro fuel in the market, owned and operated by Chris Nelson and his family. Made by racers, for racers. TNR Fuels is currently available all around the USA in many hobby shops. If you're interested in getting your hands on some TNR fuel or want some more information about it, contact Chris directly at chris@TNR Fuels, or visit them at www.tnrfuels.com and send them a message. Or get on Facebook, send them a message, or on House of RC. Check them out. TNR Fuels, the hottest fuel right now out there. Chris is going to the On-Road Nationals here. It's all about On-Road right now. That's coming up here soon too. So thank you to TNR Fuels for your continued support of the podcast. Please show them some love. American racing. There was a lot of racing this weekend. I want to say congratulations to Scale Racing Sports, Josh Garbett. He had his summer sizzler. And I have to say, this looked like I'm happy for him. Last year, this race was, I'm going to say it was like almost a disaster, because he didn't build the track right, and people weren't happy, and he had to give people free entrance to his Blue Ridge race, which is like, and then on top of the Blue Ridge race, I think Dave put AMS on top of that race. Like, it's a big competition going on. It's not really, I mean, look, Dave puts on probably the best indoor races you're going to get right now. I don't agree with the practice schedule, all that type of stuff, but the effort and the amount of time that goes into doing it, he gives you a good track. He gives you, everything's done properly and all that type of stuff. So, but the Summer Sizzler with Josh Garber, they had about 300 entries, I think, this week. The track was pretty decent. It was a little bit. It was big. The facility is big. The facility is beautiful. I haven't been across where it's at. It's beautiful. It's up in the mountain, a little bit in the mountains in Virginia. He had Scotty Ernst there. He was announcing the race, and they had live RC there. So they only had one camera. So Scotty was doing all the RD work, and yeah, I'm just happy because this guy kind of needed a race with, like the race is also designed not to have a whole bunch of entrants the way the format is. The format's weird. Like you race a race and then that's your qualifying race. I don't, he's told me over and over how it works, but I'm the type of person I kind of need to see it. Mike Hill explained how it works, but it's a different, for the way he does it, it's a different format. So kudos to him. Congratulations to them. Looks like everybody that I talked to had fun. There was one thing, they were letting some guys run open and pro. Literally. Like the guy who was TQ, one guy who was TQ of open was also third in pro. Like, I don't know how that happened. I don't know how I assume. So what they then made him do was make a decision, like you can only race your pro class. But I think by that time, the damage already been done because he had already had more time on the track. You know what I mean? Than anybody else.
Yeah.
So I don't get that. I don't know how that was even allowed to happen. But I mean, there's no rule against it, is there? Really?
Yeah, but I mean, that's a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. So kudos to them. He's got another race coming up at Clemson, and it's going to do it like he says he's going to do it like a Euro style track with like different surfaces and stuff like that. So we'll see. But it's good to see it more participation. It was honestly, it wasn't a big race. It like when I say it wasn't a big race, like had big names at it. There was no big names at it. But okay, well. Like when I mean big names, like there was no professional drivers. The guy, Ethan Mechanic, he won it. Northeast Racer, he made the main at the Nationals. But it was like good, like a big, like all the Southeast people went and some Northeast guys, like that whole region they went, and he had a good showing, and I'm happy for him. So congratulations. There was so much other racing going on in America, I can't name it all. But people are racing. Joey, the dirt, his track is having its grand opening this weekend. So he's built a track at Paris. I believe it's on the part of the track where DNC 2019 was, not 2020. So it's on the smaller part of the track, like the smaller part. So he's built a track there. It's like going to have a full facility, like hobby shop and all that stuff. So the first race is this weekend. So all the Southern California guys that I know are going to that. And I guess we have the USRC race on the 14th at SCRC. We got the On-Road Raw Nationals coming up there in California, which I would love to go to be honest. Wicked Weekend coming up. That's wake up, Max. Wicked Weekend coming up. That's one race I want to go to too, just for the venue because it's awesome. That's going to be a big race too because I was looking at entrance. It's like packed. And then, of course, I would say the next big race big national race is the 10 scale nationals coming up in Gaithersburg at the track. I kind of want to go see that too, but we shall see.
Who are we picking to win?
Well,
let's do that.
You know what? I kind of want Mayfield to win. I kind of want Mayfield to win because then, like, I think if Mayfield can win the few off-road championships, national champions, the national championships, and the 10 scale off-road championships, like four-wheel drive and two-wheel drive in 1 year, I think that's a damn good accomplishment.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm not picking him. I mean, that would be insane. But the thing is, like, Mayfield has looked really bad in 10 scale.
He has looked very bad in 10 scale this year.
No, not like, he's not won all the races. Like, B main, bad.
I agree.
Like, I agree. Really bad. So I don't know what's going on there. I mean, no doubt he's going to be in the main. He's going to finish quite high. But I don't see him dominating the 10 scale nats. I feel like he might be good in one class. He might be good in, like, two-wheel drive, or then, like, really suck in two-wheel drive, be good in four-wheel drive. Something like that I'm expecting.
Who do you think is going to win two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive?
I'd say tool drive Rivkin is looking really good. An AE car. You only say that like because it's AE. Come on. No, but like I never say Rivkin's gonna win 8 skill races, even though he's fast.
I'll pick 8 right now. I'll pick Aiden Horn. over Rivkin.
No, I mean, still, like, you gotta tool drive. I mean, no, Rivkin is still really good in tool drive.
It's going to be interesting. You're going to have a lot of fast guys there, and I think it's still only 10 cars go to the main. There's
you know
no
what
bumps.
though? For four-wheel drive, I'm picking Champlin.
He was in my brain just now. Level. He was in my brain. Yeah, he could win this.
If it's like semi-high grip, like four-wheel drive, Champlin. That's my pick.
Okay, I'm gonna take not Fend. Not picking Fend. I'm going with the GOAT.
The
two-wheel
GOAT?
drive.
No.
And four-wheel
no
drive.
Chance. Wow.
You heard it. Cav
I
will
think
win
it's
two-wheel
too
drive
soon.
and four-wheel drive.
I'd say next year, I would agree. This year, like, he has to get used to his cars. He's that type of driver. He needs to get used to his setup, and then he runs the setup on every track.
You know what? We're gonna do. We're gonna do this. We're gonna have backup picks. So you think?
Let's do 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
So I say for tool drive, it's Rivkin. Then it's. God, this is hard.
I know.
Maybe Testman. Maybe Testman is second in tool drive.
Yes. I think he's.
So
is he staying that long though?
I mean, I think he'd be going. It's a national race.
He doesn't have enough time to go to Canada and come back. No.
Yeah. So, but I mean, the thing is, like, X-Ray 10 scale, like, the four-wheel drive is good, but then, like, Testman seems to struggle a lot with four-wheel drive at times. So Rivkin for the win. That's going to be my pick. But it's hard. Like, Fend could be second. Fend could be challenged for the win. Kind of like CRC race.
It's 5 minutes. He can win this. He can be a. I don't think he has a national championship, or does he? Like a modified.
Oh yeah, he has. He
modified?
He has. Yeah, I think he has.
Okay, I'm sure somebody will say
almost everything.
Lefty, you're so dumb. Of course, he has national titles in modified. Somebody will let me know about that this week.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go with this. I'll go with Rivkin, Tessman, and then Champlin third in tool drive. In four-wheel drive, I'll go with more risky ones. I'll go with Champlin first, then I'll go with Fenn second, and I'll go with Mayfield third.
I wonder if Tebow is going to race this. He has done 0-10 scale this year. I doubt he races this race.
Yeah, but if he does, he's going to be like fifth. You know?
Interesting. I forgot all about that. Okay, my picks for two-wheel drive. The GOAT, the Fend, Mayfield. If my only person I'm going to put in there that can interrupt that is Raging Aiden Horn. Yes, I'm a fanboy. But then Cole Tollard's good too. He's good too.
Rivkin not in top 3?
No.
Come on. He's like won almost every 10 scale race this year.
He didn't win the exact RC race, 10K, that Aiden Horn won, but he probably wasn't there. Was he there? Might have been there. I can't remember. Yes, he was there.
I don't know.
No, I can't throw Rivkin out. It's so hard to pick top 3. You know what I mean? And I can't even knock Mayfield out. Because you never know. He'd be like, you know what? I'm even more determined now.
The thing is, like, you gotta have Mayfield somewhere in there.
Yeah, you can't.
He's gonna make the podium in one of the classes.
You can't have a top 3 pick without Mayfield in there.
Yeah.
All right. So in four-wheel drive, I'm taking the GOAT, Fenn, Mayfield.
Same for both classes. Just the GOAT, Fenn, Mayfield. Wow. I'm definitely going for younger. I'm going for like Champlin to win, Rivkin to win. Like,
you know what I want?
No
I want a good battle to the third main. That's what I want.
Yeah, but then if it's the third main, someone's gonna just take someone out. I mean, okay, believe this: two-wheel drive, it's Rivkin and Fend until like the final lap in the third main. Like, oh my god, you know what the rivalry like. That's going to be like the pinnacle of it, like taking one out in the last lap of the Roar Nats.
I would love to be there when that happens.
Yeah.
I'll be like...
And you know what's like after that, social media will blow up about this. Like, oh, he took him out.
And
like,
you know what? That is the type of drama I am all for right there. Racing drama.
Yeah.
That's what
I'm thirsting for it. Yeah.
Me too.
I want that drama.
I strive for it. I'll be like, oh, he took him out. And then I'll be like, as soon as he finished, right up to the driver's stand for when they finish and see what happens. Yeah. But that rivalry is definitely there, and it ain't going nowhere. I don't think Fend and Rivkin like each other much, and I think they want to
Yeah, but
beat each
it's
other.
kind of sad that in 8 scale they sort of never battle. It's always like Fend and Mayfield, and then Rivkin sneaks in the end of the main, sort of.
He does.
You know?
He does.
So it's never like Fend and Rivkin in the front. I wish it was like Thornhill or something where Rivkin is really fast. Then it would be like a battle, you know, because Fend is faster too. So it should be like a Fend Rivkin battle in Thornhill.
Well, I don't know, but that's my picks. How about you guys? Who's you guys picks top 3 for the Nationals? And hopefully, if I don't go there, we get to watch it and some good coverage. All right, Max. Any more RC news? Did you see anything this week that piqued your interest that you wanted to talk about before we move on?
Not really. Nothing crazy. Nothing exciting, really.
All right. Well, we have a few questions from last week when I posted this. So I just kept them, and I didn't make another repost this week for questions. So we're going to answer this question. It's not many. Come on, guys. Get us your questions. I know we can't spend the whole podcast answering questions, but it would be cool to get some more. So I think we should go on to the Beach RC Bench Racing Q&A. What about you, Max?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
BeachRC.com, the racers' one-stop online hobby shop. Choose from all the popular brands and variety in stock with super fast shipping and great customer service. BeachRC.com still has the local hobby shop feel with all the benefits of the internet. BeachRC.com is the exclusive distributor for Ultimate Racing, JQ Racing, Pro Circuit Racing Tires, Nitro Lux Fuels, and Assault RC Performance products. So fill up your cart and check out at BeachRC.com today.
All right. Thank you, Beach RC, for the continued support of the No Name RC podcast. They got the mod race coming out here pretty soon. They're going to be doing the pit party at Wicked Weekend here in a couple of weeks. So that's going to be pretty wild. Mod is actually shaping up to be pretty good. They got Scotty in there to call the race, and hopefully they got a few more pro guys going in there. And that's a really great 10 scale race too. And they have a lot of fun. So thank you to Beach RC for all the support. If you guys can, there's an affiliate link in the written description of this podcast and in the Linktree link. Hit that and buy something from Beach RC and help us out too. We greatly appreciate it. All right, Max, we don't have many questions, but our first one is from Charlie Mack. What's up, Charlie Mack? Reckless speculation on the potential dirt, because you know Joe is doing that U.S. Open, I think U.S. Championship thing that he's going to do. I hope he does it. He said he's going to be doing it for 20 years. He's been talking about it. I hope he does it. He goes, which is the ideal track based on location, venue, size, and local amenities? Good question, Charlie. So if when Joey has his Dirt Nitro East race, where do you think would be the best track to have this for everybody?
If it's existing tracks, SMB is one of my favorites there. I'd say that's like if you want to go like East Coast, I'd say SMB. If you want to go like, I really like the track they held the Nationals like I guess
Southside.
in 2018.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
2018 that was outside. Yeah, that was a cool track. Then I mean LCRC, the track they held the Nationals, that's cool too. But I'd say SMB and the South Side, those are like one of my favorites I've seen on the East Coast.
I think I like SMB too. But I think for ease of maybe people just getting to this race from around America, I think in Florida, like it's got to be either two places, South Side or probably down at Mills Pond. Just because of location, easier to get to.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, in Florida, the tracks in Florida seem a bit small.
No, Mills Pond isn't that big. Southside's big though.
Southside's big, yeah, but like most like Mills Pond and
Mills Pond's a little small.
Tracks I've seen around the area are a bit small. That's why I like SMB. It's like perfect size from the East Coast. I don't know if there's good tracks up north. I'm not. I never been there. I've been like
the
North
issue
Carolina.
Is like up north, it can only be done in the summertime. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, but the Nats are always summertime anyway, so it's not like a.
No, but this isn't the Nationals. It's Joey's.
Yeah, Joey's. But I mean, you could do it in the summertime. It doesn't really limit it.
Speaking of that, I wonder who's gonna get the national bid for next year. Anyway, I don't know, Charlie. I don't know, man. where he'll do it. I know he did the buggy. Him and Miguel did the buggy land thing in Fort Lauderdale, which is at Mills Pond. I don't think it would be at Southside. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be there. But I'd want to see SMB though. I really want to see that because that's like real East Coast. I feel like that's my sort of what is East Coast racing. Like SMB is like the red dirt, like the Carolina red dirt, like all those. Like the track is perfect. Like the driver stand is great. There's enough area for like camping, all that stuff.
I just think
and
getting
then,
there,
like, the
flying there is hard for people. Like coming from the West Coast.
Where do you
and
have
stuff.
to fly? Do you have to fly like?
I don't know.
It might be that Charlotte's one of the closest.
It might be like Colombia for
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
For South
I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, it's you can do it. It's not like impossible.
I think there's various tracks that can hold it. It's just whichever one wants to do it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know which one is the best one, but yeah, I haven't been to them all, so I don't know. All right, good question. Let's see if it happens. I know he's been talking about this for a long time. I'm all for serious. So, Jacob Barrett, what's up, man? I've been talking to Jacob, getting to know him. Nice guy, cool dude. He says, since Ty and Cole got DQ'd from the national race, would they be eligible for the next Worlds? I believe Ty is eligible because he's won a Worlds.
Yeah. Yeah, but also like their end result is sort of last of the semi.
Yes.
Because they've qualified up to the semi legally, and then from the semi they went illegally, so they got stuck in the semi. So they finished like, I guess 24th. Like 23rd, 24th.
Yeah, I think it's the top 30, maybe 40. I can never get a answer on this.
I think it's top 30.
Yeah, but some say it's 40. So I think they're in, and I think Ty would have been in anyway because he's already won it.
Yeah. I don't feel in America it's like, I think they can make an exception if something like that happens.
And not only that, like, I'll be honest, out of those 30 guys or 40 guys, not all of them are going to go travel to Spain if that's where it's going to be next year and go race.
Yeah.
So there'll be a lot of people, spaces where people, then they give like a spot where to the next people, if they decide not to go, then they do like a ride-in where you can go in. So, yeah. If this was an American race now, like if this was in America, then you bet your boots that everybody will probably be going because it's just easier. So
yeah,
I think
kind of like Vegas.
Yeah, like when they had the qualifying race
in Chico. You remember the Nats in Chico where that was qualifying for Vegas, where Testman dominated and Wheeler was like second.
Oh yeah, that's what 2015. So
yeah, 2015 qualifying for the Vegas Worlds. Like at that race, like finishing to qualify for Worlds was like a huge deal because everyone wanted to go. Obviously, it's Vegas.
Yeah, and then they had qualifying races to get into the Worlds at Vegas.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, right. I remember those. It was kind of weird. I don't think we should have that, but I mean, good that people got to run the Worlds.
Yeah. All right. So we have some Instagram questions. Hyperfux 2.1. I love this guy's name. Hyper FUXX 2.1. He's too savage too. He doesn't like you too much. He says you gotta get a haircut.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, people say that all the time, but I don't really care.
I know you don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, I mean,
but he's cool. He asked some good questions. He goes 4x4 is dumb. I'm sorry, that's not my thoughts on that. But he goes, is there any pros that point and shoot, as in not the whole whipping over jumps into corners and whatnots? Could you break down how to drive in the air so a simpleton like myself can understand? I think Coelho is a good example of a point and shoot pro. He was very point and shoot at.
Yeah, Coelho is pretty point and shoot, and the way he not even jumping, like he jumps pretty normally, but the way he approaches corners is amazing. He drives like a full scale car where you brake, turn, and then accelerate. He drives really, really nicely. I'm really a fan of his driving style. I can't do that, but he's really good at it. So, why he said he four-wheel drive car stuff?
No, he was talking about one guy asked about the next guy asked about 4x4 short course. He wants to know.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, he's right. 4x4.
He says, could you break down how to drive in the air? So
yeah, so
there you go.
Pretty much like there's a lot of ways to go. One way to go is just like throttle brake and then like turn separately. But you can sort of do both. So you can, if you want the front end to dip down, you can like jump the jump, lift off, and while you're lifting off, turn the wheels. So the front end will immediately, the front drive shaft will immediately sort of brake because there's more sort of friction. So you don't have to actually brake to get the front end down. So you get front end down just slightly. And by doing this, the car won't really stall in the air. There'll be just a slight sort of correction. I do this quite a lot. I don't brake in the air. Very rarely do I brake. I usually just steer it so that I get the front down a bit. And then like I steer opposite from the corner. So let's say I'm jumping a double and the next corner is to the right. I will turn the wheels to the left in the air. So the outside will be sort of lifted up. And then when I correct, the car will be sort of already tilted towards the corner. It won't be, it's not like the car is like facing the corner, but the way the car flies in the air, the weight will sort of go to the outside tires and you will have grip going into the corners. You can take the corner much faster going in. So it's not like you don't really want to whip the car, because when you whip the car, you always lose speed. You scrub speed in the air, you scrub speed when you land. So you want to keep the movements very sort of minor. So always sort of try to get the nose down as early as you can. Like if it's sort of like a jump that jumps high, you kind of want to hang the car so that you make sure you will cover the edge of the landing, you don't like nose down the landing. But if it's like a jump that goes really sort of low, you want the front down quite early. This is a way to keep the air going over the car so the car flies like faster in the air. And then when you have the front end down, you can accelerate down to the down ramp. And this way you get a lot of speed when you land the jump, especially if it's like a straight after the jump. You always want to land on throttle because it will just like speed up your car and the landing will give extra grip to the tires and you have a like maximum speed landing wise. Then you don't really need to, you might need to steer if the jump face is really steep, just to get the front end down, even if it's a straight jump and it's straight afterwards. But you can use the brake as well. It's not that big of a deal, but I prefer steering because it won't scrub the speed as much. You rarely really need to steer the car in the air. Only time if it's like a corner tabletop or something, you just jump it in an angle, steer to the opposite of the corner, and then correct it and you should land properly. You just need to get the mounts right. You don't need to like go both ways or whatever. So it's very minor movements and practice sort of to make them consistently. That's the biggest deal, really.
Well, you are the wheel flicking master. That's what you do. Flickety, 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 flick. Flicky, flick, flick, flick.
Yeah, but I'm the thing, it seems like I'm doing them for nothing, but it's all those are like, I've been focusing on this recently because I talked about this with one of my friends a few weeks back. Like, because like he was of the opinion that you don't really need to flick the wheels at all. But I agree with him. Like a lot of people do it just for no reason. They just flick it just for fun. But the reason I do it is because when I see the car in the air and it's not the way I want it to be for the landing, I need to correct it. But when I see the car jump correctly, I don't need to do anything. I just like the car is correct in the air. So every time I flick, I see the car is not perfect for the landing, so I correct it.
Cool.
And that's why I do it. And the thing is, like, you really rarely need brake in the air. Like a lot of people brake in the air and the car goes like this, and that's not good. You want to keep the car as forward as possible, so that the front end is still a little bit down. And really, the best way to do it is just to lift off and not just brake. And that's how I do it. Is there any
time, any jump particular where you want the rear of the car to land first?
Sometimes, if you're running a lot of rear droop, a lot of rear down travel, sometimes when the jumps land to flat and you have to be on power, it can benefit you landing in the rear. Because some cars are just like, if you have a very small amount of droop in the front, you land in the front and the bumper just hits the ground, you can't get on the power as fast. So sometimes it's good to land on the rear wheels on flat jumps, but every time you have a landing, you want to run
run on
front
four,
first and be on
sense.
power. Yeah.
All right. I don't know, Hyper, man. You're going to have to try it, man. I tried a whip once after I saw JQ doing it, and I broke the car right away. I was embarrassed. But I can do a whip accidentally anytime and pull it off.
Yeah, but like the thing is, like whipping is like you don't really never need to whip the car. Like in motocross, it benefits you to whip the bike because you scrub the air that way because you can have the bike sideways. But for RC, really, you want to keep the car as flat as possible in the air, as little movement as possible in the air, and then land on throttle.
But scrubbing can help.
You don't want the car
on the
to be
face
like
of the
going
jump,
like this,
though, right? Like you can scrub, you can use that scrub.
Yeah, but I feel like most of the times braking is not good because it stalls the car in the air. It's better to sort of just lift instead of braking. It really depends. If it's like a sort of step up, then braking might be good. If it's sort of like a longer jump, you kind of want to lift and then go on power when you land. So that's what I feel about it, at least. Some people like to brake, but the thing is, like, when you brake, it's really hard to make consistently. Some laps you miss it, some laps you like go too early and you don't make the jump. So it's more sort of secure, and I feel like you can make it more consistent just to lift.
Okay. Sweet, man. All right. KB Wolf. What's up, dudes? He always asks a question, what type of food we prefer. Hope all is good. Spaghetti or lasagna, Max?
Lasagna, actually. I love penne arrabbiata, but lasagna is really freaking good.
I think it's lasagna for me, too.
Yeah, like spaghetti, like if it was penne arrabbiata and lasagna, I'd be having a hard time here. But when it's spaghetti and then lasagna, I'm like, yeah, I mean, lasagna, come on, dude. Especially like one of those Italian ones. Like, oh my God, that's good.
He asks, does JQ book apply to 10 scale electric? I would say so.
Yeah. The thing here is that I find kind of ridiculous is people are like even some people that comment on my videos are like, I'm getting like learn to 8 scale and it's helping watching your videos. Like, I'm like, if it's an RC car, it works like an RC car, you know? It's not like, obviously, like you can say, let's say for 10 scale, you don't focus on bumps as much. For 8 scale, you have to focus on ruts and bumps much more. And like, yeah, obviously that kind of stuff you're right about. You have to learn the 8 scale differently. But if you really look at the theory of setting up a car, the same things work on a touring car, the same things work on an electric car, 10 scale one, and the same things work in an 8 scale but truggy. All the same things work if you know what's actually happening in the car. Because like in touring cars, the tires are really small. So you have to take that into account and then make the according changes to the setup. So think of like basically tuning a touring car is the same as like tuning an 8 scale car for smaller tires or whatever. So like take all those things into account. And when you take that, everything works the same. And the thing is, like when JQ wrote that book, I know for a fact that he, like most of the stuff he learned for that book was from full-scale examples. So like full-scale racing cars, like vehicle dynamics, all that kind of stuff. Like he's read all those books and all that stuff applies to RC. And there's no question about it. Even like, you remember when I talk about the WRC engineer from Toyota, who is sort of owner of the test logger brand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that guy, even him, like he was like, when he was testing the test logger for the first few times, the things I do to my RC car, we do to the WRC car. Like if it's the same scenario, all the setup changes are pretty much the same. Like whatever they do with the shock packets, whatever they do with the diffs, whatever they do with the roll centers, everything works the same way because it's a car. Car works like a car. It's physics and it's just geometry. And that's something that I really want people to understand, that the basic principle is the same. The circumstances are what's different. So you have to take those circumstances into account. And that's what really we're trying to do. We're trying to make a car that works the best in these circumstances. So let's say a dusty track or a slippery track, and then in 10 scale on carpet or on dirt. It's not like, it's kind of like saying like, oh, I know how to set up a 10 scale car for a carpet and not knowing how to set up a 10 scale car for on dirt. That just means that you have found a good setup for carpet and like you just do those things, but you don't really understand how that setup works in reality, in theory, in like what the physics behind it are. So like if you know how to set up a car, you know how to set up a car.
Right. And I just want to confirm, people, that's not WRC, the RC company. That's World Rally Championship.
Yeah.
Not World Racing Car or whatever they call it. WRC.
Yeah,
Racing.
I don't know what. It's a weird name, but yeah, WRC World.
When
Rally
you first said, I was like
Championship.
WRC. Like, oh, real rally. Sweet,
Yeah.
sweet. Yeah, check it out. Get it, man. Get the book and learn, dude. You'll be all right. I think so. It applies. Teddy Built Racing. Will 4x4 short course become great again? I don't think so, dude.
No,
I would like to see two-wheel drive short course.
I would like to see all classes except for nitro buggy, two-wheel drive, and electric buggy. Maybe four-wheel drive. All the other classes should be burned in hell.
No, it's not. I don't agree with you. I just don't think. I don't
mean,
think short course is going to be big.
Happen.
Because look, it was only 9 at the ENATs, even though it was a small turnout. Dave's dropped
9.
Yeah, and Fenn and Cav were
9 short course trucks.
4x4 short course. 4x4. It'd probably be only about 10.
Yeah.
It'd probably be only about 20 short course trucks at. It might be more stock short. I think
usually at the Nats it's like at tops 20.
Yeah, and modified it might be a main. In two-wheel drive. There's two-wheel drive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm talking about two-wheel drive. Yeah.
Well, he's talking about four-wheel drive. Dave dropped it.
But
Dave stopped racing it. Like he had a class for short course. At his races, he stopped because it just isn't getting there. It's dead, unfortunately. But it kind of went away from what short course was supposed to be. Short course.
I have to correct you.
Oh, shucks.
It's dead, fortunately.
Shut up, Max. Let me finish my statement. If you really look at it, short course kind of went completely away from what it was meant to be. It was a entry level, like it started with Slash as an entry level class for new people to get in, and I still think two-wheel drive stock Slash is great for that. The races, the industry, raw, everybody screwed it by wanting to go fast like two-wheel drive and four-wheel drives. You know, $100 high flow bodies and tires and all this stuff. People went crazy on it. Then you add in the 4x4 short course. It's basically an 8-scale car, 8-scale e-buggy, if that's a short course.
Yeah. I know it's a bit ridiculous. Like,
I think it's fun.
The Durango.
It's fun.
The Durango short course was great because it was based on a 10-scale buggy. So it's pretty much a 10-scale buggy with a longer chassis and longer arms. Obviously, the body and the wheels, but like. Sort of like what stadium trucks, like the four-wheel drive stadium trucks are now, except for like for a short course. So like, I mean, those were really good. Like that class was fun because you could run them on 10-scale tracks, no worries, because it was just a tad bit heavier than a two-wheel drive sort of short course truck, and two-wheel drive short course tracks weren't that heavy. So like, it was easy to run in like 10-scale tracks. You could run them in 10-scale tracks all the time. Then when Tekno came out with their 8-scale converted to a short course track, then it just like those cars were like 3 kilograms heavy, and it's like you can't really run that on a 10-scale track.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think it's just it's been dying for a long time. I would like to see two-wheel drive short course come back, but on a more basic Slash, which it's big. You know, it's still big, but nowhere near as big as it used to be. So it's unfortunate, man. I don't see it. It probably shouldn't even have been a class at the ENATs, to be honest. But
yeah,
it is what it is. Checkered past. Looking at various 8-scale companies out there for someone starting out, how would you rank the various manufacturers in order of least complicated build and ease of driving to the most difficult build and finicky tuning? That's a lot of chassis to go through.
Okay, let's pick like chassis. So let's pick like the big brands: HB, AE, Kyosho, Mugen, TLR.
Yeah.
Tekno. What else? Yeah, Tekno. Are we picking JQ as well?
Yeah, because I'm putting JQ down way on the list because that was one of the hardest kits I ever had to build the first time I built it.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, like, the issue with JQ kits was like, all the parts were sort of outdated in a way, and they're like, that was mostly the issue. And what?
All right. So who do you have first?
I mean, let's for ease of build. For ease of build, that's what's going first, right? Oh, let's X-rays as well. We take that into this as well. So for ease of build, I mean, I gotta be honest. Like this, obviously, it's gonna be sounding like sort of biased, but I sincerely believe Associated.
Okay.
Like for all the cars I've seen, Mugen might be easy as well because it's so very similar to Associated in a lot of ways. But Kyosho is a fucking, it's awful to wrench on. HB is the same.
I was shocked
Tekno,
when someone told me that they had to put like 14 shims in a rear diff of a HB car or something like that.
Yeah, I mean it's nuts, and the hinge pins are a disaster.
So and they don't have quick access. You know what made me laugh? So many people cried about not having quick access diffs on the JQ car, but I didn't know that HB didn't have them either.
Yeah, I think Kyosho has them now, but they didn't have it before. Mugen might have them now, but I'm not 100% sure. But it's like, yeah, I mean,
all right.
I don't know about TLR, but the radio trace a mess.
Let's just rank them. Like, who you think?
Okay, let's rank him. So number 1, AE. Number 2,
I have to put Tekno there.
Maybe Mugen. Number 1,
I'm putting Tekno up there, man. They got some really good. I
wrenched their e-buggy. I wrenched their e-buggy, and it's a bit of a pain.
Okay.
It's not awful. I'd say like it would be Associated. I'd say Mugen second, then maybe Tekno, then probably Kyosho. Well, okay, X-ray before Kyosho. X-rays before Kyosho, then I put JQ in front of HB.
Really? Wow, yeah, people aren't gonna like that.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm being honest here. The HB, like the way they did it is, oh my god, like the car is really fast, really good on track, durable, all that kind of stuff. But like a lot of very weird doing that. I mean, even they have all diff boxes, so they have the same excuse as JQ. But yeah, then we missed TLR. I'm
still kind of on the fence of TLR because I think the regular driver
like
isn't going like, it depends. I think if you got a high grip track, smooth, TLR is your car. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the thing is like the TLR is like the front and rear end is sort of good now when they updated it, but the radio tray is still a bit of a mess in my eyes. So I'd put TLR in the sort of a mid-pack, X-ray, Kyosho. So then what was the other one? The track speed or ease of tune?
Yeah,
the
ease
next
of
one.
tune.
So it was like ease of tuning on the track. So I'd put probably Kyosho in the front, really. No, I don't know about the new ones, but the MP9, like, come on. Same setup, every track, different springs. Like, ridiculous. Mugen probably is in the top as well. Probably even second, I'd say.
Mugen's a good car, man. I've always loved my Mugen.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, then third, I'd say, like, this is gonna be controversial, but I'd say the Black Edition really ease of tune. I run the same setup everywhere. With AE now, I'm getting to sort of that point, so it could just be I've sort of been finding my setup, but like with JQ, I was like always same setup, like no matter what grip, whatever. Like it was pretty crazy, but it was still sort of like Kyosho and Mugen are, because they are really good at every track. Like JQ is sort of struggling at some conditions. With the AE, probably the next
high grip tracks they struggle. High grip smooth tracks, the JQ car struggles really a lot.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like that's one of the strengths of the AE. So AE is sort of like has a wider spectrum, I'd say. So maybe AE is third, JQ fourth, but like those I feel are pretty much tied. Then like comes HP is there too, sort of like after Mugen and Kyosho. Then X-Ray, I don't really know about X-Ray, probably somewhere in there. But like Tekno Tekno and TLR are sort of cars that, yeah.
I think the new car from Tekno is really good. A lot of people used to say that.
Yeah, but like the thing is, like, it's, I don't know. I'm not convinced it really works anywhere other than tracks like DNC and Silver State.
They seem to be struggling a little bit on the rough tracks. I think it was Tebow was talking to Tebow. I can't remember, but I think.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, the best result of the year was that Silver State. So it's like,
yeah, it's weird. Like, I don't know.
Himself.
He was so fast.
So
at
I
Silver
think
State.
I think what he means is that he himself is driving wise struggling on rougher tracks. But like, to me, no doubt the Tekno car is the best when it's and when it's high grip and where it's smooth. When it's like rough and the track is low speed, then Tekno is really good.
Okay.
When it's higher speed, higher grip.
Okay, that's where I must have got it confused with. Because
yeah.
It's been so long, man. Had so much stuff through my head. But I definitely ranked the new buggy. I mean, I've heard a lot of good things about the new buggy. You know how before they used to say the nitro car, like people say, oh, the Truggy's good and the e-buggy's good, but the nitro car is too much of a handful. So I don't hear that anymore. And
yeah, but the thing here is though, like when we're going through these brands, like all brands have their sort of like the speciality, but then it's like in the end they are really close together. You know, like HB is really good on like American style tracks like DNC. Then like Associate is really good on like European tracks, like pretty much like everywhere where it's like in Italy or Spain, like tracks like that. Associate is really good. And then like the Mugen. Oh, we completely missed S-Works, by the way.
Oh man, we will go. I think we can have a whole podcast just on this.
Yeah,
it's so many different. It's so many brands out there. It's impossible to rank them all. I think we should have ranked the teams.
But the thing is, like, the thing is, like, I feel X-Ray could be a good car, but the issue is they don't really have drivers. I don't feel they have enough drivers to have sort of a good setup for every condition. Like Tessman is probably one of their only guys at the moment. So like that's the biggest issue for X-Ray. I feel like. The thing about Kirsch and Mugen though are like they are such old brands, so they have sort of aspect of it. So they are pretty high up on every aspect. For example, like AE has strengths, like the car is really fast. It works very well on high speed. Some American style track, it's crazy fast. But the thing is, like Mugen and Kyosho have that sort of all-round thing to them. They're not the fastest car at every track, or even at even the most tracks. There are most tracks they aren't the fastest car,
but they're good at everything they do.
They're good at everything they do, and that's because of like the timeline. Those cars are over 10 years old. Only slight changes.
That's how I explain
my
Mugen MBX 7R, man. I said it's probably not the best car out there on any particular thing, but it's good at everything. And I'll be honest with you, man. Most of these cars out there, like somebody with my lack of skills, I'm not going to notice. Like, I mean, yes, I have enough skills to notice a difference in a car, stuff like that. But I think all these cars are good, man. I just think it's about.
Yeah, and the thing is, like.
To rank them all, I haven't even built all of them. So.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, to say, like, to someone, like, hey, what's the best car to buy? It's like, okay, well, if you're looking just for results, most likely if you pick AE, HB, Mugen, Kyosho, or I'd include X-Ray in there as well. Why not JQ or Mayako from now on? If you pick any of those cars, most likely your results will be pretty much the same. It's like none of those cars are so much better that they would stick out. But the thing is, like at some tracks, there are differences and some aspects of it. So like wrenchability, durability of parts, or the speed of the car, or if you sort of enjoy a car that has a lot of steering,
I'm going to tell you right off the bat.
Can, like, pick it.
I'm going to tell you right off the bat, and I've seen it a million times over. The JQ car, the first build for anybody that I've noticed, has been hard. I remember when I first built it, I was like, what the fuck? Like, and then later on,
you kind of have to know.
But later on, then you go and you see, okay, this is what he done, why he done this, and all that type of stuff. Yeah. Man, I'm seeing guys with, I've got 25 years of experience. Can't even build the car. And I'm just like, it's so simple once you know, like, you know what I mean? But it's just it's just details and stuff like that. It's a hard question.
That's something that
we should do a team ranking video. I've been saying this for a while. We're in the middle of the year now. We should rank these teams and see how they're doing. Like, we should make a ranking system and do it. That's a good question.
The thing is, like, when I'm doing this, like, I have to kind of like because I can't be like sort of biased in this, so I have to kind of like watch myself. But I mean, the thing is that, like, people always ask, like, especially since I left JQ, they ask, like, should I switch to AE? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed the cars. I like AE. But, like, if you're looking just to get results, it doesn't really matter what car you choose. If you just like what you're doing, you know?
You should stick to something and learn it and then go from there.
Yeah.
Like, look, like, honestly, when Cole's a great example. He switched to HB. He wasn't good the first year. You know what I mean? And then like the second year he started picking up speed. Okay, he hasn't had the results that he should be getting now, but that's more to do with with Cole. But it took him a while. Like people like these pro guys that do this for a living, it takes them time to get up to speed with the car. Okay, Mayfield kind of was on speed with the Mugans right away, but that's Mayfield.
Yeah, but the thing was, like, even Mayfield, like at some big races, he struggled with the Mugen in the start. But now when he's got his setup, he's got his engine, everything set up, he's always there. You know, so like even he needed time to be consistent over time. Like, everyone can win a race with a new car. That's not hard.
Here's the thing about new cars.
But to win races consistently.
Here's what happens with new cars. You get a new car. You buy a new car. It's all nice and new, right? All fits, all nice. You drive the shit out of it. You don't rebuild it as good as you can. Because let's be honest, like, maintaining an 8-scale car is it takes a lot of money, not a lot of money, but a lot of maintenance. You drive that car for 6 months, you're trying to make it stretch a year. Like, a car gets to a point where it's no good. Like, it's just worn out and that's it. You either replace everything on there or you buy a new kit. So then you're like, oh, this car's shitty. Oh, it doesn't work. Oh, it's the car, it's the car. All the while you're just realizing you're just putting like Band-Aids on top of a amputated leg. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, it's the car. I'm going to switch brands. You got a new brand 6 months later and like, oh, it's so great. And you just do the 6 month thing all over again. Like, you know what I mean? Or a year or whatever. So I don't know, man. You know what? Here's my advice to you. I know he wants me to rank the brands, but it's kind of hard. So let's just do one quick ranking. So let's do your top 5 brands. And then we'll
top 5 brands. So brands that I would like to run.
No, brands that you think for you. So you had Mugen and AE as your top 2. Kyosho, X-Ray. Who else did you have in there?
For the buildability, wrenchability or whatever. Yeah. AE, Mugen. What did I have then? Oh, I think we had Tekno. I had
Tekno.
Yeah, AE Mugen. I guess Tekno for like wrenchability. They have like quick access diff boxes and that. So that's pretty much that. I'd say that's like all the other cars have some like lack in that department. I feel like those are like
a hard question
cars
to answer. That's a good question though. We might have to have a podcast just on that. We're gonna do that.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, there's so many aspects. If you ask like what's the easiest car to wrench on, this is that car. And then like what's the cheapest? What has the cheapest parts? What has the most option parts out of the box? So like there's so what people like. Like, if someone can spend a lot of money, they can buy a certain car and then buy all the option parts to it. And if you just want a car that's fast, like, then that's a different thing. So there's so many aspects of picking a car.
I agree. But it's a great question.
And some people even just prefer to have a good team. Like,
exactly.
Some people don't really need the best car. They just want to have a good team around them so they can figure out the setup and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
These are great questions. But that last one, we could have been on for a long time about that. But that was a good question. We might have to just do a whole podcast about that. Thank you, everybody, for the questions. Thank you, Max, for answering them. We don't have any more. We didn't get that many. See, somebody sent me one privately, and I always hate when they do that because I lose it.
We should, you know what, Keenan? We should probably do sort of just Q&A like podcast on Patreon.
Yeah, maybe we
like
should.
Just Q&A.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that.
These are always like, I really enjoy this because I can be like, there's a lot of the stuff we don't normally talk about. Like, people ask something off topic and it's pretty fun, actually.
Yeah, I enjoy our lives we do as well. I do. I do. All right. I like interacting with the people and stuff like that. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm sorry if I forgot your questions. I know I had one. It's like someone asked me a question, then I talk to him, and then I forget all about it. Like, you know what I mean? And then it's like up in the conversation. You know, somebody just can't ask me a question. You ask me a question, it's going to be a 30-minute to an hour long conversation. Like, you know? So that's how it goes. All right. Well, thank you to Beach RC for your support. They're off to Wicked Weekender soon. Check them out. Please, if you guys can, use the affiliate link in our link and help us out too. So showing the sponsors some love, shows the podcast some love. You know what, Max? Now I'm getting on to the main interview with Mike. But we're going to bring you back. I got a good Sun City RC Raceway Dawn and Quiet topic this week that we're going to talk about. And it was a question from one of these that I thought would make a great topic. So thank you everybody for your questions. Enjoy the interview with Mike Mayberry of Hitec Rc. And Max, I will see you after this for our last subject and our conclusion of the podcast. All right?
That's right.
Tekno RC. Tekno RC. Tekno RC is a premium manufacturer specializing in 8th and 10th scale high-performance off-road RC buggies and trucks. Visit www.teknorc.com for a complete catalog of their products. Tekno RC. Excellence in engineering. #Tekno Takeover.
Joining me this week is a man from a company that recently, I wouldn't say recently, but in the last few months came on as a sponsor of the podcast, which I'm grateful of. But they aren't new to the RC industry. I used to run their servers back in the day. That's all I used to run. I still probably have some older high-tech servers here from back in the day. But I'd like to introduce the Mr. Mike Mayberry. Actually, Mike, I'm not even sure of your actual title at Hitec, so why don't you let us know?
Hey, great to be here. Thanks for having me on. Well, I'm actually the sales manager, also in charge of the team, the aircraft team and the surface team. Mm-hmm. I've been with the company for 26 years now, so I've had a lot of hats, done a lot of traveling over the years, talked to a lot of people, and been lucky enough to make this a career.
Yeah, 26 years is a long time. When you told me that, I was like, wow, I didn't realize you had been in the industry that long. I like to get to know my guests. I haven't really spoken to you that much, but I always like to find out how did the guests get into RC? Like, what was their first exposure to not just like a racing RC or a proper hobby grade RC car or vehicle?
Sure, yeah. So it all, with like a lot of people, it was, my dad. My dad was kind of one of the actually kind of pioneers in the airplane, side of things back in the late 60s and stuff. And I used to go to the field with him, and one of my earliest memories is smelling the nitro fuel and stuff. So but I did the planes early on, and then got into 12 scale racing was where I was introduced to the hobby and to the RC car side, and loved it. I went through all the categories pretty much. 12 scale on road was kind of all that was out there originally. There's 8 scale, but that was a little more elite classes and stuff. So 12 scale was the big pull for me. Used to go up to the Ranch Pit Shop and Briggs Cunningham and up in the LA area, and got to meet a lot of cool people up there, and had raced for some sponsors over the years, and then did the off-road stuff. The 10 scale was at the 85 Worlds in Del Mar. I never got big into the 8 scale like it's going now, but I got a short course, I got some buggies. I've always kind of liked electric. Have raced some 8 scale on road. It's really Formula One of RC. It's That's always kind of my favorite thing. I always kind of gravitate to on-road because it's easier to pick back up. You throw an on-road car that's handling out on the track and you get your timing down, and it takes a little while to figure that the third dimension with off-road, where you got to jump and with the dirt and not so much traction and stuff like that. But I enjoyed all aspects of it. I did work for a company called Hobby Shack for a number of years. It turned into Hobby People. Well, so actually Hobby People originally. And so I was, managed a retail hobby shop in the past. So got a lot of experience with customer service and utilizing the product, knowing what to do, knowing all the ins and outs of the hobby. And that's why I was, got into this position, and, originally just as customer service, and then just kind of grew from there. And so just loving the industry.
You've worked in the RC industry your entire working career, pretty much.
Yeah. Spent a little bit of time, mostly in retail before, but always doing stuff that I enjoyed. That's always good when you got a job that you enjoy. Then it's fun to come to work.
Sweet. So you are from all right. So you're from the SoCal, San Diego, that area. So you grew up in what I consider the mecca of RC. So you got to rub shoulders with guys like Gil Losi and in the 80s, 85, that's when off-road had kind of just really kicked off. I want to say not kicked off, but was getting big. You had Jay Housley,
Jam and Jay. Yeah.
Jam and Jay is cool too. I met him many years ago. I used to run his car. Cool dude. I had him on this podcast too. Great dude. He remembered me and everything. I was like, wow. So you got to
Junior, Pops, Losi, Gary Kais. A lot of people that I've been around. I haven't been doing a whole lot lately, but it's still something that's in my DNA.
Yeah, I actually had I'm pretty good friends with Alexander Hagberg. He's like a 12 scale guy for X-Ray. He's really good too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, well, obviously you know him.
I haven't. I don't think I think I saw him once when I went to the was the race that Scotty puts on in Vegas.
Yeah.
And just watching some of these guys, they're just machines. They
he's
the same line every time.
He's good. He's we call him the doctor, and so he kind of got me on that, looking at 12 scale stuff. And another friend of mine, Zach Donathan, he does it. It's not as big as it used to be back in the day.
No,
but it's still it's like a niche within a niche. But I actually have a lot more respect. I've watched those things go, and they're so fast. I would never be able to go on the track like that. Not at those speeds.
It's crazy. Especially with the carpet, now, and just how fast everything is. I mean, it's just unbelievable. The touring cars is what I really kind of gravitated to after they became big, and that was those are fun to drive, in 4-wheel drive, and then they're pretty hooked up and stuff. But still, I like to think I'm pretty fast, and then I get out at some big race, and I'm just it's such a struggle sometimes, to just figure everything out.
So you was into touring car in its heyday, like the Barry Baker days when they were still racing cars on parking lots and stuff like that?
Sure, yeah. In fact, we used to have a parking lot race. We had, I think, 7 of them that we would put on at the Hitec parking lot. And we had, actually, that was when Hobby People had an on-road series that they put on at their stores. And so we had them come down and run the event. And I remember Barry coming down and Hara, Cliff Lett. There was a lot of big names came and raced, and it was a fun thing. So we put up a big tent. We had everybody, area to pit, and just ran a fun program.
Sweet. Awesome. Was you still involved in the aviation side at all while you was doing this, or just strictly surface?
I do everything. So,
okay.
I most of the events that I was going to would have been the airplane events. There was a lot of trade shows, years ago. They've gone away though, unfortunately. there was a couple car shows or shows that had car stuff in them. They did the RCX show up in Pomona and around that area, and they would draw some of the car manufacturers. But most of the events that we would do, as far as the trade shows go, it was all based around the aircraft side of things, aircraft, heli, stuff like that.
Well, it's so much bigger. See.
Yeah, in some senses, it's waned definitely in the last several years because of all the regulations. So, they unfortunately what they did was the FAA decided that model airplanes are drones, and so they lumped us all into this category of being a drone so that they could regulate it. And
Gotcha.
so now there's talk that. And I think that it may be even that it will be that you actually have to have a device on your model that is trackable, and or you have to fly at a sanctioned field. So that makes it to where it's, if you have to put a device on every model airplane you have that's a GPS or a tracking device, it's going to be expensive.
Yeah.
So those are things that have definitely hurt the hobby, as far as the aviation goes. But
but nowadays people can get into flying so easy now. Like, you can get a plane for like $100, go out there, crash it, and get another one.
Yeah, one of the companies I have to kind of give a shout out to, if nobody's ever seen what they do, is a company called Flight Test, and they actually created their own customer. They created these models that were made out of foam board. And they came up with all these different types of models just by cutting out foam and gluing it together with hot glue, and then using inexpensive motors and ideally our servos. But they just appealed to just this generation that wasn't fixed on the mainstream of I have to go to a field and I have to learn to fly and stuff. They learn to fly by crashing. The planes are really durable. They crash them, they fix them, and stuff like that. They just had an event, I believe, or going to have an event with a Flight Fest, and I've been to a couple of them. And they will actually have combat. They just, everybody goes out and throws their airplane in the sky, and they just all chase each other and try to crash into each other.
Oh, I could deal with that.
Yeah, yeah. So it's definitely a different thing. So for people that are maybe like thinking about, hey, I'd like to get into a hobby. I want to give a shout out to those guys over there that have this really cool thing where you can kind of build your own, and they brought back building too. Most people want everything ready to go. It's like cars nowadays too. Everything's like mostly ready to go, and of course, if you're a racer, you don't want that. You want to build it yourself, or you got to pull it apart and rebuild it. But
yeah, sweet. So I guess when did you start with Hitec then officially?
So it was like 1996.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just got out of high school.
Yeah.
I was like 17. I was my first. Yeah.
Getting up there.
So, how did that happen?
Well, it was one of those things where it was just kind of like a friend, said, hey, these guys are looking for somebody. You should go talk to them. And, I'm like, hey, I used to work at the hobby shop and been in it all my life. And they're like, here you go, sit down. You're our promotions director now. And so got to, go out, and I'm like, well, I'm going to need some stuff. I'm going to need to, have some cars. And all right, here we go, and so kind of got me all back into it, so
sweet.
That was
what
cool.
was your job as
promotions director? So like I was just in charge of giving stuff away. Honestly, it was so my job. People ask for stuff, hey, we got an event, we got a race, we got whatever. I'd get all these, it used to be get all these letters. You don't get letters anymore. And then you'd go through them all and figure out who was worthy, or give somebody something here and there. Or what it really came down to was squeaky wheel. And it's just a little heads up for anybody out there that's promoting an event is, you can send out your email, you can send out your letter, you can send out whatever you want. But if you don't, it's like getting a job. If you don't follow it up, if you don't call, if you don't say, hey, what's up? Hey, we're having this event, and give some notice, don't just be like, hey, next weekend we're having an event. Can you donate? But if you reach out to a company, couple months, I'd say a couple months is a good time to start. say, hey, we're having an event in a couple months. Here's the flyer if you got it. And, if you guys can help out, that'd be great. And then, maybe like 3 weeks before the event,
Reach out.
check back, say, hey, this event's going on. Just hoping you guys can, do something. And, so getting the exposure, getting the product out there, it's nice. You just want to also kind of support, the industry. And, there's, some guys, I mean, obviously, raffles and stuff. I always feel like, you want the right people to be in the raffle. You don't want some pro guy getting something and he's just gonna be like, well, I get all this stuff for free, so I'm gonna, sell it or something like that. But same thing with the airplanes. You don't want, you want people that are gonna use it. You don't want necessarily like some rank beginner that gets something expensive and they're like, I don't even know what to do with this, But so that was part of my job. And then just going to the shows, going to the trade shows, going to events. Deciding what events to go to. I used to travel a lot, go to nationals. I was even the ROAR secretary for several years back. I don't know, 10 years ago or so. And it was actually when after Mike Reedy had passed, that was an opening, and I went ahead and took that. So I was involved in some of the ROAR.
How'd that work out for you?
What's that?
How'd that work out?
It's all a lot of political stuff, so you have to deal with that.
Oh, I know.
But I did go to like stock nationals in Utah as the ROAR official, and had to make a couple decisions that, it just is what it is. This is my decision. I
have nothing against decisions that follow the rules. If you ain't following the rules, then you gotta go. I was just recently at the last the nationals here in Pennsylvania. I was going to have you on before then.
Electric, right?
No, it was Nitro. The electric one was in Florida last weekend. So I went to the fuel nets, and it was a big kerfuffle, and I got it all on tape. But it was, and I actually had the ROAR president on her because they had to come on and stuff. ROAR's in bad shape right now. We're trying to fix it. It's just not got a good. We need to get some new people in there, some fresh blood, and get some forward thinking in there. I think, like bring ROAR into the 20th century. No.
Yeah. I mean, that's always the case with sanctioning bodies. As you feel like, maybe there's some loopholes that people are exploiting, and but I mean, there's a lot to. There was a Norca.
Norca.
That was around for a while, and that they had a little bit different rules and stuff. And I know, one of the things was Norca used to have different sportsman and expert and, pro, and that's something I do actually like at these, like the big 8 scale, events, is that you do have these different categories. And I think ROAR just puts everybody into one category.
Yeah, but I'm actually I don't have nothing with classes, but I also think that we should race how the rest of the people race in the world, and that's the one race that we do that we do in America.
Right.
That we do it, and I like that. I'm not saying all races have to be like that.
Against everybody,
That's where you see where you stand, I think, in racing, and where you really stand.
Yeah. But there's sometimes where that's a discouraging.
Yes,
you're
of course.
Like, I'm in the F main. You're like, yeah, it's good.
No, it's classes. We have this debate a lot. They have their good qualities and they have their bad qualities, and I just think it's something that's her, and we got to make the best of it while it's her. Like, I think it's great. I think people should start in sportsman and then graduate to open, and if they can, go to the pro class. I mean, if you can, But
you get the sandbaggers and stuff.
Oh yeah. This is racing, man. We're always gonna have people like if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying hard enough or something. That's what they say. So, what products was Hitec offering back in 1996? That was probably just a little bit before I got I think I had just gotten really into RC, like 95.
Well,
96.
when I came on board, we didn't have any high-end servos. We didn't, it was more geared towards the aircraft market. There was smaller servos, and then we came out with even smaller servos, which because the park flyer stuff got real popular. I was driving factor in the R&D, for the company. So I got to go to Korea and talk with the engineers and say, we need this, here's a product that, we need to compete against. So I think originally I think like the 645 was like our best servo at the time, and so we came out with a coreless motor servo, the 925, 945, and then digital servos, and then as we developed the products into what they are today, we're leading edge as far as the technology and the development and some of the stuff where we were talking earlier about like our brushless servos. The brushless servos have a very unique circuit, and that the guy that designed the circuit for us actually helped design the circuit for Tesla. And his name's Alan Cacconi. And so he, the way our circuit is that when the servo slows down to come to a stop, just like a Tesla does, it regenerates the battery. So it puts power back into the battery. But that's really not the most efficient part. It's that overall that the servo as it's used or stalled, it doesn't draw like a ton of current. If you were to stall a standard, most servos out there, and especially like a coreless motor servo and some of the other manufacturers' brushless servos, as you stall them, they draw a lot of current. They're going to draw more and more current as they become stalled. Where the way the circuit works in our servo is that it only draws enough power to keep it in the position that it needs to be in. The servo actually does not slow down under load. So as the servo's moving, it's moving full speed, or it's can't move at all. So when you stall it, if you were to like just hang a weight off of it, like our most powerful servo, like the 9381, that servo draws about 1 amp. So what we're seeing is about 2 to 3 times the runtime on the receiver battery. But also, just as with that efficiency, the motor's not getting as hot, the amps aren't getting as hot. The servo's actually, as far as the motor goes, the servo's underrated because we make it more efficient. So we could put more torque in the servo, but when you have a servo that doesn't slow down under load, then there's no reason to have more torque as long as the servo's moving. So what we chose was the efficiency of it, so that everything lives longer, it lasts, it's more durable. So the performance is there over a period of time. So and that's a big factor, especially in 8-scale racing. And like you said, you were familiar with our product because there was a time where the Hitec servos were, this servo, if you want your servo to live, you need to put this servo in. There was I think
it was like I just remember they ended with a TG, I think.
Like the 7955 TG.
They lasted forever, man.
Titanium gear.
Yeah. This is like I just want to reiterate, because when I got into racing, or when I got into 8-scale back in like 95 and all that stuff, it was like I didn't even think we had specialized servos for our cars, but I think we just had to use regular servos. You would probably get a Futaba servo that might have a bit more power. You get some, but the reliability of servos back in the day, like when I started, was abysmal, like especially for off-road. And then like I remember like guys like, you got to try these Hitec servos. It's like 1999, 2000, I want to say. And I got them, and I even think I bought some on her when I moved her to the DR, like in a car. And then I obviously by that time, we're talking like 14, 15 years later, there was 1,000 different servo companies at one point. There's still a lot now.
Yeah.
And so I didn't hear about Hitec too much after that. But some of back in that time, the early 2000s, if you didn't run Hitec, in my opinion, like you was you just running like you probably would have a servo failure, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of brands of servo out there, and everything's really good.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get it right. There's no real junk out there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that sets us apart is our customer service, is the warranty. We have a 2-year warranty on all the servos, but if anybody's ever experienced high-tech service, that a lot of times that's just kind of a rough guideline for us. We get something in, we can fix it easily, or we're just going to take care of the customer. So there's points obviously where we have to say, hey, I'm sorry, it's not economical to repair, or
Mm-hmm.
it's this old, whatever, and here's the price. But we do what we can to make sure that our customers are happy, that the product's good too, and that you're not having to send it in. One of the things that we were talking about as far as the development goes and stuff, and what goes into like our products with the the titanium gears, we were kind of the first with the titanium gears. We were also first with what we call an MP gear, which is the very, very bottom gear that touches the pinion on the motor in the servo. Those were all plastic. Everything was plastic at that point, because there needs to be a buffer between the motor and the gears with the metal to metal contact. If you've ever experienced some of those things where, I remember, pipes on engines, where there's a little rattle and it's creating, RF noise and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to come up with, what we did was we molded the plastic around a inner pinion that was steel. And in fact, I have a one here that's a kind of the newest version of that. And if you can see, it's sandwiched aluminum around the very edge of it. So the center is steel, the inner portion is a carbon filled nylon, and then it's sandwiched around the very edge of it with aluminum. So that strengthens that plastic part, and then the inner portion is what connects to the rest of the gear train. So those are developments that we've had over the years that make our products that much better and more durable.
I wouldn't even have thought of RF noise from a pipe creating problems.
Yeah, like the little metal little flanges on there. You kind of typically want to put like a little shrink wrap around it, so that metal to metal is never good with the vibration.
Mm-hmm. But I didn't even think how that would affect servers and radio.
Oh yeah. It's better now because of the 2.4 gigahertz.
Mm-hmm.
We don't see the same frequencies, as far as the interference goes. We used to have problems with gasoline engines and the ignitions and stuff like that, that created RF. So those are little things that but yeah, if you have all metal gears in a servo, then you can get some jittering over time, especially as the grease wears away.
Mm-hmm. Now, would you say, my buddy always says this, that the aviation side of radios and stuff was far more advanced than the surface side. Is that true? There's a lot of the stuff that you guys learn in aviation filter over to the surface side?
Things. Hitec actually was building radios for a long time. We decided that it wasn't necessarily worth all the investment. And when you look to streamline a company, we've got into other areas like drones, industrial stuff like that. So unfortunately, we're not doing the radio stuff anymore.
Right, because you guys had the Lynx, I think it was called.
Yeah, we had the Lynx, and originally had a Lynx system, Lynx 3D, and then came out with the Aggressor line, and then the Lynx 4S, which was a great radio. But it's tough. It's a tough market. There's a lot of factors involved with how that all works, and how much money you spend to build it, promote it, stuff like that. But what's interesting is that there is a lot of features on the car, on the surface radios, and when you talk to most of the pro guys, they're just like, well, I'll use endpoints. I don't use any other features like that. Maybe they'll dial in a little dual rate or something like that to, if the car is or expo. But most of that stuff is always kind of geared towards people that it's a selling feature. With the airplanes, you do have a lot of things that you need. you do have a lot of mixing capabilities and stuff like that, and flight conditions. So they're and more channels too, right? So that is more sophisticated. But
believe it or not, these no prep drag guys are really getting into programming their radios now.
Okay, just like on like an expo side of things, or
a whole bunch of things, because they're trying, because you know the no prep drag racing is really booming right now on surface, and so they want I don't know exactly how they're doing it. My buddy was explaining to me, and it just went like that. I have to be there and see it. So he was explaining like with curves and different way that different. So they use it with the ESC, so it hits at different times within a six, like a certain amount of time, so they can just launch better. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
And it's different stages that they have, but they're using the radio as well as ESC programming, but it's a lot of us to do
curves and stuff like that. So that it doesn't come on too quick and you get the traction. Yeah. We actually have released a servo that has a magnetic encoder in a kind of really a standard servo. It's called the MD485 that we geared towards kind of that next step as a entry level drag, no prep drag servo, where you're looking to replace your standard servo. It's only about $37. And it has that, like I said, it has the magnetic encoder instead of a potentiometer. So that came from our industrial side, because on the industrial side, that the precision and the durability is really, really important. So the magnetic encoder is something that we use on that side. So we took our standard 485 servo, which is about 100 inch-ounces of torque, which is plenty for a drag car. Uses what we call the carbonite gears, which is a glass-filled nylon, and so they're really tight gear train, very precise centering, and that's what you want for drag racing. You got to go straight. That's the key. That's the factor. So that servo was brought out to as that kind of that upgrade. You're looking to, because there's a lot of people that aren't so heavily into it, right? I mean, you don't necessarily need to put $100 and something servo, in your drag car. So that's a product that we have available now that's geared towards that market, which is booming.
It is booming. I've been threatening to build one so I can look at it. Not race it. It's definitely. I think actually we're probably going to see that genre of RC racing on mainstream TV before anything else, to be honest. The people that are involved in it now, like Big Chief and all that there. So it's amazing to see what's happening. Let's rewind it back a little bit too. I meant to ask this, but when was Hitec founded? It's a Korean company, correct?
Yes, yeah, Korean company. I'm trying to remember exactly, but it was I believe it was somewhere around like 1982 that Hitec was founded in Korea, and then partnered up with a company called Polk, and so it was they brought that in for a while, and there was some kind of mixture of products, and then it became Hitec, and then RCD was another company that built receivers, and so then Hitec bought out RCD and became Hitec RCD, and then started building receivers and aftermarket receivers when 72 megahertz was real popular, and you had to have a special narrow band receiver and stuff like that. So that was a kind of a big part of our business, was the receiver side of things, and then of course the radios as we came further along, more advanced radios as we went.
Right, because you guys, Multiplex used to be a servo radio company too.
Multiplex was purchased by Hitec, by the owner of Hitec. So not necessarily Hitec, but purchased by the owner of Hitec. And so two separate companies, kind of sister companies. And with the Multiplex, there was the models. They had some radio stuff. Most of the servos were then replaced by Hitec servos. So everything multiplex is now a Hitec servo. Multiplex does still sell radios in Europe, but not here really in the US. Although there is, we decided that the model side of things was just a lot of effort and not a lot of return, and a lot of storage, a lot of shipping. And so we've decided that we're not going to import the multiplex models anymore. But there is a new importer, and he actually was the old importer before Hitec purchased the company. So his name is Carlton Spindle, and he's got
Yes, I remember him. I bought some servers from that guy back in the day.
Yeah. So he's got a website. If you're looking for any multiplex stuff, it's Mr. Multiplex. It's mrmpxhobbies.com.
I remember Carlton. I remember buying their servers back in the day.
A good guy.
Yeah,
he
that brought back some memories.
Scale, real big into fifth scale. I think he even had a track up in the LA area for a while. They had their worlds there at one point, and so that's another thing that's kind of taken off is that fifth scale stuff.
And off-road, and
on road as well, and the track up in Steel City up in Fontana. They're racing a lot of the fifth scale on road up there and stuff.
Yeah, they have the nationals next in the weekend of the 14th, I believe.
I think so. I've got a fifth scale spec 5 car that I haven't got out there to run yet, but
I love fifth scale on road, man. I think it looks so awesome.
It's almost like running stock because it slows things down a little bit. So because the bigger stuff,
And they look so like they use body shells that are realistic looking. They look real, like their action. I love it. That's my
8 scale off road.
Unlike 8 scale, I know moon buggies. Good stuff. All right. So getting in, when you guys did get into I just have a quick question. So I'm assuming like servo needs for like an 8 scale car differ from anything I would say differ from a lot of different things. Did you guys make specific off-road servos, or was it just something that kind of, or do you you know what I mean? Is it anything specifically differently that goes into them?
We did actually try making servos that were specific for cars that had a little shorter lead on them. But the thing with that is that everything is similar. So like the 9381, for example, that's our top of the line servo, brushless servo. That's our giant scale airplane servo. That's our 8 scale off-road servo. That's the anything that you for the echelon top level of performance. And so when if you have a different version, and there's companies that do that, they've got surface versions, and maybe it's got a smaller lead, a shorter lead, or something like that. And I know, sometimes it's hard to deal with the little bit longer lead, but you typically just kind of stuff it in your radio box, and it's going to be okay. But we do just make servos kind of as general servos. When you start making specific servos, then you limit your market. And then you look at the sales and you're like, well, is this even worth it? And so we just decided that we would have one version. We may make something that's more geared towards something, where we have a speedier version versus a torqueier version.
Okay.
But in most cases, torque sells. The higher torque models sell more than the higher speed models.
Got you. Yeah.
And some people think that, I need this fastest servo. And what they don't realize too is that with some servos, again, like I mentioned with our brushless, they don't slow down, but you put your foot on top of your car and start moving the wheels. It goes from zip, zip, zip to burr, 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 and that's going to affect it. So when you're at the end of the straightaway, going 60 miles an hour and you go to turn, the high speed servo isn't going to have that initial turn in. It may be quick through the S's when you're going slow, but the higher speed stuff, it can bog down, and it can give you an inconsistent feel. So normally the torqueier servos are kind of the way to go, as long as they're not too slow.
Right.
But in most cases, like I said, 9381, which is about 0.13 transit time at 7.4 volts. That's where plenty fast for most vehicles.
See, that was a great analogy you used. I'm talking about the high speed servo going into a corner at 60. That puts it all into perspective. I think people need more power anyway because maybe these servos are too fast for them anyway. They need to turn them down a little bit in the radios or something.
Yeah, and also the same thing with the mechanical setup too is that if you got a longer horn, the longer arm, the further out it is, that's going to give you a little bit more speed. It's going to give you a little less resolution. It's not going to be quite as precise. Going to give you less torque. So there's sometimes those little fine lines of moving. Just a little bit. You've got a couple holes to choose from. If you want a little bit quicker speed, go to the outside hole. If you want a little more torque, go to the inside hole. Those are things that have a factor as well, and especially on the airplane side, where they use really big horns. The closer you are to the center line of the servo, the more torque you're going to have, the more resolution you're going to have, less load.
Physics, man.
Yeah.
Physics.
Yeah.
All physics.
Yeah. There's a lot of mechanical stuff. You gotta think about too.
So, as we was talking, like Hitec was booming. I remember you guys had like Adam Drake on your team. You had, like it was booming. It was like you was really into surface racing. And then
we had a guy, Billy. Billy Ho was his nickname, Billy Tompkins.
Oh yeah.
He would come out to, we would send him to the events, and so he got to go and represent, and that was something that is always good. Anytime you can have somebody out there.
Right.
You get more exposure. And it's been a little tough with me where, everything kind of comes down where I'm in charge of what he was doing, and also the air side of things, and also the, sales and everything. So I haven't been able to get out there. We do have team drivers. You mentioned Mike Walker, who's one of our team drivers and kind of rep for the area. So we are looking for more people to help represent. So if viewers out there, if you feel that you could help represent Hitec and you like our products or want to try our products, because we feel we've got as good, if not better, product quality, everything, as far as servos go on the market. There's a lot of good stuff out there, but when it comes down to the technology that we're utilizing in our servos, I really feel there's nothing better than like that 9381 for durability, performance. So those are things that we do. We have a team. We offer discounted price on the product, and we always are looking for people that will help represent. And for us, it's all about the person. It's all about the personality. There's a lot of fast guys out there, but that's not really what it's all about necessarily. Yeah, you want to win, you want to do well, but when you have a sponsored driver, you want somebody that's out there representing you in good faith, and it's not all about just me, and I need to win.
Mike's been good that's how we got connected, through Mike. So that's great. I'm seeing he's even, like, you guys are sponsoring some race time events and stuff like that, because I hadn't seen Hitec in the surface side of things for a while. So I guess that's kind of when you got, obviously you guys were before, but then there was a spat, like maybe I just wasn't paying attention, but it kind of wasn't as big. You guys wasn't as big in the racing side of things for some time, for a little while. I kind of wanted to know what happened there. Did you guys decide to focus on something else? Did you go more industrial with your work, or what happened there?
Well, we have gone industrial, but there's still the RC side of things. So, but as the market's changed, the market's definitely been depressed. At least for the last decade, it was just kind of on the downside. We kind of got this bump. It was almost like this COVID bump of people were sitting at home and they didn't have anything to do, and they were out spending money on their hobby. So we definitely saw something like that. But in order to be able to go to these to these events, to get somebody out there all the time. I mean, it takes a lot of dedication, and it was something where we ended up having to shrink a little bit, and unfortunately that was where Billy was our guy, and was no longer out there able to do that. And for me, it wasn't something that I was so involved in that I could just step in. And so that's why we're trying to kind of expand again, trying to get people, key people, core people, maybe have this kind of regional sort of thing where we look for like team manager. I have Brian Wright out here on the West Coast is helping us out. So he gets around, he gets to most of the events. He's doing 8 scale, doing electric. So he's out there helping look for people and stuff like that. But as far as corporate level goes, and granted, I mean, I haven't traveled at all. There was a shutdown of, we're not going anywhere for the last, year and a half.
Yeah.
So, I do plan on going out to that big, you mentioned the Joe Knoll in the fall. So that'll be our big airplane event that we go to, where there's 10,000 people.
I know, it's amazing.
There's 1,500 pilots.
I want to go to that so bad,
and it's just miles of stuff. So, but I'd like to get out to another event. I definitely, again, I've been around. I would love to go out and race, but it's so tough to be able to get to even close to being at a level of satisfaction and going out to an event and having all your gear and being prepared and stuff like that. I mean, it's so much that goes into it. Like, so I said, I like on-road. I can pull my car out of the paper sack and throw it on the track, and from the year ago that it ran last time, and it still goes okay, and you can't do that with off-road, that's for sure.
Okay. Can we talk a little bit about the industrial side of Hitec? Because I find that pretty amazing. I mean, you showed me a servo earlier. I don't know if you can show it, but
yeah. Let me
it's the biggest servo I've ever seen in my life.
Is let me get something for reference here. So hold on a second. Okay, so we've got standard size servo. Okay, so then you've got the fifth scale servo. Okay, so now we've got,
jeez, look at that,
the SG50. So wow. This is over, I think it's 500 pounds that it can pull. So it's it is made for industrial usage. Obviously, right. You can see how big it is. You can see the interface. There's different interfaces. There's even a little QR code on there. So I don't know, scan it, see what it does. But so it's waterproof, but it's also filled with mineral oil. This little hole right here is where it gets filled, so that it can withstand like extreme depths. So it could be used in like an underwater vehicle. And there's a lot of other servos that are smaller than this. There's also a lot of servos that are similar in size to what we have, that are utilize, say, a magnetic encoder or a different interface. Like instead of it being just the 3-wire, it's what we call like a CAN, where it's like 4 wires with a feedback, so that exactly where everything is, the position of the servo all the time. There's a lot of bigger brushless servos that we have, but that's all designed for. There's a lot of military stuff, drones, again, underwater drones as well. The medical devices, utilized in a lot of medical devices. Stuff like that. It's amazing. Just whatever. I mean, I can't say everything for sure, but I mean, it's like just little devices where it's like they're taking blood or something and it shuts something off or turns something on, or and so just actuators that are used in all sorts of applications.
Give me an example of something that's using a servo or something that we probably wouldn't even expect in everyday life.
Well, there's also like the animation and stuff like that, you know. So like when you go to Disneyland and you see these things moving around, there's Hitec servos and a lot of that stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I don't even know about or I can't even say about, you know.
Really?
That's you know, yeah, but yeah, there's a lot of applications for that. Some of the other things that Hitec is involved in is we do have a commercial drone division where we have like a airplane, it's a flying wing. We also have a quadcopter that is all automated. And so what you do is you set up like you have a tablet and you would have like a Google Maps view of something, and you would say you're out in a field, you know, there's a farmer's field or something, and he wants to you know, see where his cows are at or something. It will actually just map the whole area, fly back and forth. You just launch it, you know, it flies automated. You launch it, it'll fly, stitch everything together on the map, and you can see you know, all the whole farm. We've also done where we check power lines as we go, and stuff like that. We can have like infrared. You can search for the like hot spots or cold spots, like when you look for like when they're watering something, and you can look to see where maybe you have a water leak and stuff like that. So
Wow.
yeah, and so there's a couple different types of drones that we offer for that. You know, obviously this is real high end, very very sophisticated stuff. We're about to go to the big show, is the AUVSI show, which is really where all the companies that do that type of thing would go. They haven't been able to do that for a couple of years.
Interesting. You know, that side of the RC industry really interests me. Like I used to operate a radio controlled shotcrete robot in tunnels.
Okay.
Right, and that had like a box where you had to, you know, had 4 joysticks, and it was like a boom, and it had different joints. You can move it like that, and like I'm guessing like like for me, because I'm just so like racing, that's all I think about, and RC and cars and planes and all that stuff. Sometimes it blows my mind when I think about the other industrial side of RC, like especially like with the military, with so many things. Like now, like just the technology that we have, we can do so many things that are RC related to help things out and do things. I imagine that industry is just booming. Like I know a few guys that race cars that, like, I'm pretty sure they fly. Like I know one guy probably flies drones for like a oil company.
Okay.
Like yeah, stuff like that. And you know, when I was in Abu Dhabi working, I used to see all the drones flying across, and it's crazy to amazing all this stuff.
We have a division that does that goes out. We also sell the products so that people can do it themselves, and then we go train them. But we do have a division where, you know, they'll go out and map stuff, you know, take bird's eye view of you know, areas, and you have to be licensed for that. You can't just go out and fly your drone anywhere. You know, there's certain regulations, and again, that's some of the things where, you know, some of those regulations are getting a little strict, where you do have to have a license. They even had it to where you had to have a license to fly a radio control model, and they decided to take that away, which crazy. You know, that was just, I don't know, they just wanted to get your $5 or something for that, but
probably So e-truggy is growing really big here in our genre. E-buggy is enormous. E-truggy's growing. I know you guys have a nice, cool charger geared towards e-buggy guys, like to charge up 2 batteries and whatnot, like, and stuff like that. I don't have the name with me. I should have had that up in my notes here, but I did.
So there's the new charger that we have is the RDX2. I'll go grab it so you can take a little closer look.
Sure.
So the RDX2, I'm backwards. Let me just RDX2 Pro. So it's a dual port charger. It's 130 watts per port. So you've got AC DC. So you've got the AC power. You've got the DC power. You can also use it as a power supply. So you can power up to like 25 volts. So you could power up like tire warmers. engine heater,
Heaters.
something like that. You can run that as well. But this one will do up to 14 amps. And like I said, 130 watts. So just to get a little bit of a lesson is that, watts is amps times volts. And sometimes, like we'll have a charger that says it'll do 10 amps and 6S, but, it doesn't necessarily mean it does 6S at 10 amps. You're always limited by the wattage of the charger. So at 130 watts with a 4S pack, you can charge about 9 amps.
Okay.
So that's, in most cases, you're looking at 5,000 milliamp battery, 6,000 milliamp battery. So you're going to charge in, 40 minutes.
Okay.
Somewhere around there.
This has a Bluetooth dongle too, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So there's an add-on little Bluetooth dongle, and that way you can utilize an app on your phone, either your iPhone or your Android device, and you can program and monitor the charge through your phone. So if you're out, I don't want to say term marshaling because you don't want to look at your phone term marshaling, but before the race starts, you can check to make sure it's charging, because the last thing you want to do is get back and you'll be like, no, it didn't charge, or it just shut off, or I forgot to push start. So
can you do that from the phone though, or you can just monitor?
Yeah, you can start it on the phone, you can stop it, you can monitor it, you can see where you're at, you can change the charge rate, you could, absolutely.
And this is it's dual, right? You can charge two batteries at what?
2 ports. So and each port has 130 watts, so it's 260
You
watts
did say that. I just wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, some of the chargers, they'll have, they'll share the wattage.
Right.
Some of our other chargers, it'll be like 100 watts, but it divides the wattage between the 2 ports. And you could, have more wattage on one than the other, or you could split it 50-50 or whatever. So it depends on how big a battery you're charging to typically how much wattage you need. So smaller batteries don't need as much wattage to get the same charge rate.
Sweet. I like that. I'm in the market for a new charger. I might have to.
You're gonna need one of these.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get me one of them and some Hitec servers for whenever I build another car that actually goes racing. All right. Good stuff, man. So let's talk about the future. What's the future looking like for Hitec? Any immediate plans we can expect coming from you guys? Anything new? Anything racing related?
Well, so as far as new stuff goes, there are some new servos in the works. We did spend a lot of energy on the industrial side because it's such growth area for us. We do feel that we have some very, very good core components, core servos that still are competitive, and like I said, 9381 is our most popular higher end servo. But it just seems that everybody's going to this more and more torque. They're just fitting more and more torque into the same size servos, and as we've experienced over the years, is torque is what sells. So whenever you look at a servo and you're deciding, you might say, okay, well, this one's faster, or this one's stronger, or whatever, so I'm going to go with that one. Like I said, our brushless servos don't slow down under load, so there's no need to have the extra torque. But if it's something where you're going to say, well, this guy's got another 100 ounces over you, then it's got to be better. Then it doesn't matter what the reality is; it's what the perception is. So and again, as the technology progresses, I mean, like you mentioned, the 7955. Back in the day, right, it was 333 ounces of torque. Well, that was a ton, and that was when servos were only getting out 180 or so, and we come out with 333. So, the 9381's at 486, and it's at 486 regardless of the voltage. So it's at 486 at 4.8 volts, at 6 volts, at 7.4, at 8.4. It's only the speed that actually changes. And that's because the motor is regulated. What we found too is that even during the testing to test the torque, where you would either pull something or push something, you can actually damage the gears just by, doing that, because even the titanium gears would start to see signs of wear when you're pushing it to that level. So the torque that these servos have is there's a tremendous amount of headroom. You're not really, there's only so much that a case can take. You're not putting, you're putting a big servo in a big car because you need to have that dissipation of energy. That you put, it's not like we're running these small servos, the standard size servos in 5th scale cars, but they still have the same torque.
Okay.
So there's just a point at which how much can a standard size servo take. So right now the standard size servos, the torque ratings on them is more than really the cases could take if you want to max out what their full capability is.
Got you.
So a lot of it is more of we can do it, so we're going to build it with more torque.
Right. Torque sells, like you said. The more torque, the more people want. Even though you don't need 800 ounces of torque, you like the sound of that.
Paper, right? Yeah. So there's some new servos in the works, some new circuits in the works. We have the Kokoni circuit, which is the 93 like 81, 9380. We have a 9360, which is high speed, 9370, which is mid speed, and then 9380 and 9381, which is the higher torque. So those use the Kokoni with a regenerative circuit. In some cases, that's a little much. The electric cars with the BEC circuits, they don't necessarily like that feedback that comes back into the BEC. So we actually include a device called a PAD. It's PAD. It's a power absorption device. And so what it does is it allows for that power that comes back from the regen circuit to just be absorbed instead of going back into the electronics. So on the electric side of things, in most cases, the BECs seem to handle it. But when you're, using a 4-cell battery, you've got to drop the voltage down. So you're definitely going through a voltage reducing, circuit. And a lot of times they don't like that. So you want to run the pad for that. We do have a low profile servo called the DB777, and the D is our digital circuit. We have like the D series servos, like the D955, the D950. So instead of having the 7000 series like you were familiar with, we have the D series now. And the D series, what it does is it has a soft start feature. It has a overload protection, has an auto gain function to prevent any jittering. And so we do have some more brushless servos that are going to be out with that circuit. There has been a challenge recently with chips. If you're familiar
right, yes. I can't get a PlayStation 5 for my son because of that.
So that's something that Hitec actually has been proactive about. We kind of saw it coming. We've changed some manufacturers in some cases so that the availability would be there, but the lead times and the prices have just gone up. Material costs have gone up. So unfortunately, that's what we're seeing in almost everything across the board now is that prices have been going up. But the Hitec has always been dedicated to servo manufacturing, and that's our bread and butter. And so with the the RC side of things, we have every possible servo imaginable, analog servos, which not a lot of people make anymore. So something like a 645, which is an analog servo, which is about $35 servo. That's one of our bread and butter servos for your basher out there looking to upgrade from a standard stock servo, want to put something in his Traxxas truck or something like that. We have all aspects of the range of prices and levels of components that we use. But I do always tell people that you want to match the level of servo to the level of vehicle. If you are running 8 scale, off-road, regardless if you're a basher or not, that those vehicles need higher end, digital servos, so that they'll live.
Sweet. How about, is there anything like that you think we'll see? I don't know if Hitec will do it. You know more about the electronic side, but there's any like new technology in the works that you think we're going to see here in the upcoming years concerning for racing side?
The only thing, I mentioned is that there's the different protocol. And so with that, we can see more automated stuff on like the airplane side. So we do have, we were doing some testing where we had like a helicopter that's fully automated, and that you can just, tell it what to do, and it's gonna do it, and it's gonna feed back. It's gonna know everything that's going on. Where the position of every servo is, what it needs to do, how it needs to compensate, stuff like that. For the surface side, it just seems like there's really not a lot of change. There's just, more refinement, everything seems to be going, with, as it becomes cheaper too, all the aluminum cases and stuff. I remember, years ago when we looked at aluminum cases, it was going to add $50 to the cost of the servo. Now it's we have our own CAD machines. We can do it. It's the investment's already there. So there's going to be more aluminum cases, waterproof. Might as well make it waterproof. Why not? But as far as any real changes go there, I think that everything's going to kind of go still the same way. It's just everything kind of gets refined as we go.
I always like, are these servos fully waterproof? I mean, I've taken my trail truck into some deep water. I always wonder why we didn't do that in the 8 scale side. Is it just more money to make them waterproof, or what is it?
Fully waterproof. So now most of the servos are what we consider splash proof. Okay. So they're going to have O-rings throughout the case. But as you introduce pressure, that's where, you have to have everything sealed up, especially like where the wire comes out. So in most cases, your servos are going to be able to, be splashed upon. And then when we did come out with our first original waterproof servos, there are ratings. There's a specific IP rating. So our servos are IP67, meaning that they can be in a meter of water for 30 minutes.
Okay, gotcha.
So yeah, we brought like a fish tank, and we had them underneath the water moving around and stuff like that when we were at our show. I remember when we were debuting them. But there are some servos that say they're waterproof, but unless they say it's IP67, then that's not, or IP68. We have some, like it's this big giant guy. This is IP68. So it can go up to like 100 meters or something like that. It might be even more than that. But we do offer waterproof servos and the analog, like high torque, like called the 646 WP, which is like a 645 in a waterproof case. We also have the smaller one, the HS 5086, which is like for the smaller, like 1/16 scale guys, like the little crawler guys. There's the D956, which is like our D954, which is similar to 7955 is the closest thing as far as performance goes. 400 ounces of torque, steel gear, heatsink case. Those would be good for the crawlers and stuff like that, where you're gonna get them wet. You're gonna drive them through water.
Awesome, man. Hey, servers, like, I'm not gonna lie, it's so easy now with servers. I remember that used to be such a big headache back in the day, but I mean, the technology is so not just with you guys, but just with servers, period. But if people knew the heartache that we had to go through back in the day compared to now, they would have quit racing a long time ago. It's awesome to see. I never would have thought I'd be interviewing the guy from Hitec ever in life, so that's cool for me.
That's great. I'm really happy to be here. It's fun chatting with you. And
it's been a great conversation.
Yeah,
I learned a lot.
No, I appreciate it, and I'm gonna get out there. I'll definitely get back out there as we're able to travel again. That's the thing. Is it was just a crazy world for the last year and a half, and I'm looking forward to getting back out there, and if there's some events that I can drive to or something like that, then maybe we'll get to hook up.
Sure, man. Sure. I think that'd be cool. I'm sure we have a lot of stories to talk and tell about. That'd be awesome. All right. For anybody interested in possibly getting some high-tech equipment or being a part of the team, I know you said this already, but they can contact obviously Mike Walker, probably on the East Coast area. He's kind of dealing with that. Can they contact you or the other?
Yeah, certainly. So my email is mikem@hitecrcd.com. Send me a resume, and then like I said, we do have kind of team managers that manage certain areas and stuff, and maybe it's something where you're in an area that we don't really have anybody, and that's a role you'd be interested in, and like I said, it's all about the people. It's all about family. Hitec's really got a big family, and we treat our customers that way. And so that's really kind of what sets us apart. And we're always looking for good people to help represent. And so if it's something, you feel you could help represent for Hitec, send me a resume and we can go from there.
There you go, people. Also, if you guys are interested in just purchasing some of these servos or their charger, which is really badass.
Yeah.
You can go to hitecrc.com and where to buy, and you can find all their, I believe, A-Main, Servo City. It's a bunch of different websites you guys have there that you can purchase from there, and just give them a check. I know for a lot of new people that are coming into the hobby, they may not know who Hitec is, but I'm telling you, it's all I used to run back in the day when I was racing hardcore. So awesome, man! Thank you for coming on. Thank you guys for supporting the podcast too. I appreciate that. And we should do this again. Like maybe in a few months and just see what's going on, and I don't know, maybe we'll see what happens, man. I appreciate it. Cool.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it too.
Well, all right, Mike, thank you for your time. Remember, guys, if you are interested in anything Hitec, hit up Mike Walk on the East Coast. What was the guy on the West Coast too? Brian Wright. If you feel that you might want to be a team rep for them, hit them up. If you're the right person, if you fit into their family, there you go. It'd probably be the last servo you ever buy because you won't get any more. Trust me. Mike, you have a good one. Thank you for your time. We look forward to whatever Hitec comes out with in the next few months or by the end of the year. Hopefully we get to meet at a race one time and have a frosty beverage and talk RC. Maybe you let me drive your fifth scale. Then I would.
I need to drive it first.
I know they're so expensive. They're cool. What was it again? You got
It's the Spec 5. So what's nice is that it's like everything's all like a spec class. So you're limited to what you can have. So I don't have to worry about getting outspent.
Oh, what company makes that?
FG.
Okay. So FG is the spec class. That might be the class I have to run. Thank you for your time. Yeah, man. You have a good weekend, and hopefully you get back out there and get into these shows because I know. Like for me, that's something I enjoy is getting out and being around the people.
And out of the office is a good thing too.
Oh man, I'm glad I got to know you as well. Mike said you was cool, and he was right. So
all right, cool,
thank you for your.
I really appreciate it.
Cool, man. Have a good one.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Sun City RC Raceway, the home of El Paso's world-famous motocross-inspired 8-scale off-road track. The Showers family has over 20 years experience creating one of the premier tracks in the USA. Their world-class facility has everything: handicap accessibility, advanced skate starts, space for parking RVs, trailers, and lights for night racing. Follow SCRC on Facebook under Sun City RC Raceway for updates, upcoming races, or host your own race.
Yes, thank you to Joey Showers, Corbin, and Christian for their support of the No Name RC podcast and bringing you the SCRC, Sun City RC Raceway, Dawn and Quiet. Usually we reserve the end of a podcast for a rant, but I got a good question and I wanted to bring it up and kind of be our conclusion. But thank you to SCRC for their support. They have a nice race, big race coming up there. Ryan Lutz is going there with the USRC. The first time on the West Coast for USRC Racing Series. So Rob Isaac and Ryan Lutz are going over there. If you're in the vicinity, you want to go check out if you're in the vicinity and want to check out an awesome RC facility, hang around a bunch of good people, and go check out Sun City RC Raceway. Tell the Showers family you heard about it on the NNRC, and I'm telling you, they'll roll out the red carpet for you like they did for us. So thank you. All right, Max. So I actually got this question. I was gonna ask this in the Beach RC thing, but I thought this was a good question that we could probably just mull over and wishful thinking. But the Olympics is going on right now. I haven't watched much of it. I did watch some skateboarding. Shout out Bermuda won its first gold medal ever in the Olympics. Flora Duffy. I don't know what she wanted in, but she won it. Huh?
Oh, okay.
I think she's like a triathlete or something.
Which sport it was?
Triathlete, I think.
Huh?
I think she's a triathlete or something. Yeah, she's super bad. Like she's badass. Like that's the only goal. Bermuda only has 2 medals in the Olympics: a bronze back in the 70s from boxing, and this. So, yeah. Congratulations to her. And so this question comes from Evan Osborne. He asks, if RC racing was in the Olympics in Tokyo, what classes deserve to be there and who would win gold in each? All right, let's not, this is not going to turn to a bitch session about what classes deserve to be in there. Let's just be,
drive,
and 8-scale buggy. And then
tool drive electric, 8-scale buggy,
and
10-scale touring electric.
Really?
Maybe 8-scale nitro on road.
I would put 8-scale nitro on road. I would have 2 off road and 2 on road classes. So
exactly. So 8-scale off road, 8-scale on road, touring, and 10-scale two-wheel drive off road.
All right. So who's gonna win 2-wheel drive? Who's gonna be your gold in 2-wheel drive? Hard
for the Olympics. You know what? For the Olympics, it's gonna be Cavalieri. No one else is gonna be it.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Because it's like the Cavalieri.
You cut out a second.
Buggy.
What did you say? It was Cavalieri in 2-wheel drive?
Cavalieri in 2-wheel drive. For nitro buggy, God, that's tough. But I gotta go Ongaro though.
Really?
I gotta go Ongaro. Yeah.
Really?
Over Mayfield, Ongaro. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. 10-scale touring car?
10-scale touring car. God, that's difficult at the moment.
Coelho?
Because like maybe, but like when was the last time Coelho raced?
Oh, this weekend.
Can't think of it. Where?
They raced in Italy. Hagberg was there too.
Yeah, but they also had an ETS.
Yeah, he didn't go to ETS. There. I don't think they could go because of the COVID.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, Reinhardt is looking okay at times, but then again, like he gets beaten by Volker, and then like all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
man, it's hard to call 10-scale, isn't it?
It's hard.
Yeah.
I'd say Coelho. I'd say Coelho still, but like that's a big if, because like touring car is so much about the car as well, not only about the driver, you know. So and then 8-scale off road on road. I'd say, God, that's hard too, but I gotta say Balestri and Auto.
Yeah, I would pick Balestri
One of
too.
those guys. Yeah.
All right, so here's my picks: 2-wheel drive. I don't know. I'm like, I want to say the GOAT. I want to say the GOAT, but I kind of want to say Fend. And I don't.
Yeah, but like, come on, Olympics, like 5-minute runs, maybe, but it's the Olympics. Like, you know, the pressure, even at the Worlds, like last
I think
time.
Kev, who's been under more pressure than Kev in his career?
Exactly. Yeah, that's why.
8-scale nitro. Oh, I'm going Ronnefolk. I am a pure Ronnefolk fanboy. Go Vikingo.
If it was held in California, in Southern California, I would go Ronnefolk as well. But it most likely won't be. That's why I'm going Ongaro.
10-scale on road. I don't know much about that. I'm gonna pick Hagberg because I'm friends with him. But maybe Hagberg when he was younger.
No doubt.
If it came down to
feel like he sort of transitioned a bit. He is still a good driver, no doubt, but he isn't that I'm winning the world's type of driver.
Right. He is very talented, but he has to work. I think he even explained, he'll tell you that I have to work harder than like a Coelho or something like that. You know?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I like Reinhardt and Volker and all those guys are fast. So It'd be hard to call that.
Touring is the hardest one to pick.
And 8-scale on-road, I can't go wrong with Balestri. I don't really know. If Coelho was running 8-scale again, maybe I would
he
pick
can
him.
be good. But I'd still like, I think Naoto is really good. He just needs to get it. He gets like to keep the car running. For
It'll be in Japan, so it'd be home turf for him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, then Naoto, no doubt.
Yeah.
Naoto is my pick.
Yeah. Wow.
You
But
can pick
let's just think about this, because you said motorsports will never be on the Olympics. Skateboarding's in the Olympics, dude, and people never thought that would be there. I was watching that the other day, and I was just like, wow. This went from get the fuck off the sidewalks and putting things up and being banned and this devil worshiping heathenistic type of, sport back in the 80s and the 90s to like being in the Olympics.
But you know why they got into the Olympics?
Because it's very
I believe
mainstream.
the only reason it is, but I believe the only reason why they did was because of snowboarding is already in the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
If snowboarding wasn't added first, skateboarding would still be lacking. They wouldn't be in the Olympics. So there's like nothing to drag RC in. There's not even any full scale like racing in there. So like that would need to happen first before RC could get in.
I don't even want the Olympics. I just want to get on Netflix most obscure sports documentary. What's so small? We can't even get on that. That's bad.
We are too obscure for a Netflix documentary called Obscure Sports.
Yeah, it's no shit. It's no. I was just having this conversation with a guy today. I said, "Do you realize how small RC racing is in the big picture of RC?"
Yeah.
And how we think it's so big because we think it's big because it's our world,
Yeah. Like last few months, I've started to realize how freaking big bashing is and how freaking small racing actually is. Even in Finland, there's like thousands of cars, like probably like 10,000 RC like cars, like Traxxas or Arma, RTR cars, like over 10,000 easy in only Finland, where there's 5 million people. But like racing drivers, there's probably a few hundred at best.
Yeah, I mean, just look at. I don't know, but it's a pipe dream. Wouldn't it be so cool, like 50 years from now, like RC racing's on the Olympics, and be like, I'll be probably dead. I'll be like 90. I'm like, Max, you said it would never be on there.
You'd be like Yoda.
Yeah.
You'd be talking all backwards.
Mm-hmm. See, RC in the Olympics it is. Wrong you was, Max. Wrong you was. Weak with the force you are. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Don't want RC to be in the Olympics.
You know what?
Just to not see
I think that's enough. But I thought that was a great question. We can always dream. The Olympics, I would never see in my lifetime. I'm just hoping, like I said, I was hoping to get on Red Bull TV or Monster TV or just give us.
Even that would be amazing.
Give us 10 minutes on the most obscure sports in the world. Because we obscure. We don't want to agree. We don't want to think like that, but we are. What do you guys think? What do you listeners think? Do you think what classes and who would win gold? Well, let's just say the classes. Let's say 2-wheel drive, 8-scale nitro, 10-scale on-road, 10-scale touring car on-road, and 8-scale fuel, like nitro off-road. So,
yeah.
I think
you said off-road twice, but on-road
I think that's your... Okay, I did? Okay, I'm confused. I'm always confused. I think that's... And tell us who you think will win gold. Do you agree with us? I got Cav, and I got Cav, Runafalk, Hagbard, and Balastri. Max has Cav, Ongaro, Coelho, and Balestri. You picked Nato. So
Nato, yeah.
Nato. I'm sorry, I said it wrong. I said Nato. It's Nato. All right, man. All right, Max. You know what? It was fun catching up with you. My birthday is this week.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to have a live.
How old? You're 40?
I go 43.
43. Wow.
Yeah, I'm getting old. I'm 7 years from 50. This RC stuff stressing me out.
You're almost at half point of life. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, I still got 7 years to go to make it to that. So anything can happen. We said this was going to be a short podcast, but it's been an hour and 50 minutes.
No, yeah, I mean...
Anyway.
We always do this.
You know what?
We always go way
You know what?
Long.
Thank you, Max, for your time. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. We can't do any of this without you guys. All the support. It's almost been 3 years we've been doing this. It's crazy to think that we've been doing this 136 episodes in. Well, not more than that. Well, 136 episodes in. It's truly awesome. I'm enjoying. I had a great time. This actually took my mind away from all the drama that's going on this week, this last couple of days. I'm having fun. Thank you, Max, for your time. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to the patrons. We can't do it without you guys. Thank you to everybody just showing some love to the sponsors like Manscaped. Getting in there, getting your grooming stuff in. I know you guys out there manscaping. That's what I'm talking about. And yeah, just thank you, man. You know what? Thank you to all of our awesome sponsors. They are Mayako, Beach RC, TNR Fuels, Hitec Rc, Tekno RC, JQ Racing, Sun City RC Raceway, Lugs Racing Tires, Manscaped.com, Papa Willie's Traction Tonic, our new sponsor, Donathan RC. Go and get your cables. Use that coupon code. Racecraft USA, we got a 10% coupon code for them. RCGP, House of RC, Maxis from the ground up. Thank you to everybody that's made this possible over the last 2.5 years, 2 years, 8 months. We're going on 3 years here, and we're going on strong. So thank you. Let's keep this ball running. I would love to get to another race this year. I don't know if it's going to happen. It might. Max, what's your plans for this weekend? Racing if it's raining, but it's raining, so you're not racing, because I thought all Europeans raced in rain, but obviously Finnish people don't.
Yeah, I mean, most likely no racing due to the rain. Racing, then just chilling, taking a weekend off from just chilling probably. I've been like racing or practicing every single weekend or doing something. I've been sort of weirdly busy in the last few weeks. But yeah, now I'm just trying to take a weekend off. I enjoy it if we can. If it's a race, then I'll be ready to go, no doubt. But yeah, I'm kind of already hoping though that it'll be canceled, because I don't want to go to watch the rain. That's the worst.
Yeah, that's true. Hopefully I'm going to run my boat this weekend. I'm excited about that. I only have, it takes 2 batteries, so I only have one set of batteries, so I'll have to run it, bring it back, charge it. Or maybe just one run will be good enough. I'm definitely looking to break some speeds with this thing, so I'm going to, once I get it all settled, I'm going to put some GPS on it. I got some adventures coming up. I got my parts in for one of my rigs. I'm going to fix that, and then me, my son, and my buddy, we're going to go do some crawling. Can't do no racing. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just looking forward. 43 is almost here. Who knows? It's a day before while we're recording this. I ain't 43 yet, so anything can happen. But yeah, man, I'm just appreciative of everybody that supports us. I'm appreciative of you. And there's everybody that helps us out and all the guests that have been on this podcast. I can't say it enough. I'm going to stop rambling. Remember, Nitro is the glory. E-Buggy pays the bills. If you ain't grinding, you're sliding. Max and Lefty, we're out. Have a good day.
Thank you for listening to the No Name RC podcast. We greatly appreciate all the support and love from you, the listeners. Without all of you, none of this is possible. Special thanks to our patrons on Patreon. If you wish to support the podcast further, you can at patreon.com/NNRC podcast. As a patron, you will receive early releases, special content, and Patreon-only giveaways. Also, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and our website, www.nnrcpodcast.com. Remember, Nitro is the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills. If you aren't having fun, it doesn't make sense. And if you ain't grinding, you're sliding. Lefty out. Nitro is the glory. Nitro is the glory. Nitro is the glory.
wasn't so bad.